Hey everybody, this is Tucker here, and this is the live stream that I recorded with me and Razor and a couple other people. In the beginning of the video, I'm not asking a lot of questions because I didn't have very many people watching the stream at that point, but when Maldor dropped out, one of the people I know on the PC, a lot of the people who were watching his stream jumped over to mine and started asking questions, so a little bit later in the video, I start asking questions, but in the beginning, the majority of it is Maldor and some other guy that jumped in from, I think it was Maldor's stream at the time. Anyway, please rate, subscribe, and watch the other video that'll be coming out. I'm going to link it down in the description. It should be coming out right about the same time as this video does. Anyway, have a nice day, and please enjoy the video.
I see a cool question in chat. Someone's asking about grocery stores and adding like a freezer type thing that would have like the meat that in the freezer, so you don't actually have to always go out and like hunt animals or something. You could occasionally get meat from like a freezer or something in a grocery store.
Yeah, but the power would be out. Wouldn't that be an issue?
Yeah.
Well, it could be raw, and then you could just go like heat it
raw?
up over a fire.
So somebody
It would be like
is
gives you an
asking,
infection if you eat it.
somebody's asking, what's the biggest change plan for the future of the mod? Kind of a big question, but
What was that?
what's the biggest change planned for the future of the mod?
What's the biggest change?
Yeah.
I suppose it's going to be for this version. Is that what we're asking? Just for this version?
Well, it's just what's planned, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, like future plans, so like what we was on about earlier.
Oh,
base building.
Well, the two biggest ones are going to be the base system and the journal. The journal's it's going to take a lot of work to get the journal how we want. To be able to drop it, carry it, move it around, change it into a crafting system, bring the gear menu in line with it as well. The base building is going to have a lot of systems we're going to have to put in place to stop the system being abused, but we're not. It's not a standard system. There'll be no other mod that has what we're planning at the moment for the base building. We'll be the first one to do it, but it's going to take quite a while for us to get that base building system in place, get it running, get the kinks worked out, get the how you take over, how you capture, how you recapture, how you lose, the implementation of how the Zeds will spawn, how they work with the new camps or the new bases. It's going to be a big challenge.
So somebody just asked, how about we have food and drink items named after DayZ community members? Well, we used to have that, but it's been removed since because a lot of people were complaining that it was
breaks
breaking their
immersion. Yeah, so zombies
like
don't break immersion. Come on.
Well, we did. The issue with that is when we renamed them, when we did the changelog, we named them all specifically in the changelog as who they were. So Dr. Frag or Dr. Wasteland's Coke, we put it in the changelog as Dr. Wasteland instead of just putting new drink item. And a lot of people picked that up straight away without actually even seeing the can or model. When they saw the model after, they realised that, well, you can't actually tell. You would never even know in game. It's just adding a bit more colour to the game. Now, no one's seen any new threads pop up about the cans in 0.7, and all the cans are back in 0.7. We added them all back in. We just changed how we put them on the changelog.
That's going to be on Reddit pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Everyone, to your computers.
DayZ developer.
He
DayZ
broke my
developer
immersion,
scams all
He lied
DayZ
to us.
thingy. Yeah.
Nerds, to your
Well,
computers.
no one lied anyway. No one lied anything. We took them out because they broke immersion for the changelog. The changelog, we added them back in that didn't break any immersion.
Yeah, immersion. That
Anyone
makes
on my
me
stream
laugh.
right now?
Again, guys, DayZ standalone, no questions about that. Razor can't answer those. You can ask them, but you're not gonna get an answer from us. You might get an answer from the chat, not from us.
For future updates, are you guys ever going to add like more spawns, like residential spawns or military or anything to like other towns? Because I know there's towns on the map that there's like literally nothing good that spawns there, so no one ever goes to them. There's just like abandoned towns Are you guys ever gonna add like markets or anything to those towns?
Now, this comes hand in hand with why we changed the loot tables the last patch. We got criticised a lot for changing the loot spawns, how the loot spawns around the map. So we take away the central points of where everybody goes, i.e. to get medical, they go to the hospital. They don't bother with anything else, they just go to the hospital. So we changed that to try to bring people out of just those hotspots, so they use the little houses a little bit more. Because at the moment, on the last patch, the little houses were never really used. There's very rare anything decent got spawned in them, or anything usable for more than 5 seconds. So we've tried to move that away and generalise the tables a little bit more, so we can create more player areas, so they can go to it and find what they need, or find items they need based on what the houses would normally be. You walk into a house, in your local estate, you're going to find someone has a bandage, or they have paracetamol, or they have cans. Oh no, anything really. If you walk into houses in the States and some of the like Texas things like that, you'll find guns and all sorts. There's no reason we can't have those in the houses. So our aim for the last one was to try to bring the hotspots down a little, get some of the older houses that we never really used before used, and try to create new loot spawns around the map. I don't know how many of you have actually seen it, but there's quite a lot of new loot spawns around the map. This will lead in later to new buildings, hopefully, and then try getting new areas built up around certain towns that were never used, to try filling them out a little more. But again, everything has to take time. We have to take our time on everything. If we just dump them in, we're going to have problems with them later. So we need to take a bit of time to level them out, where they need to go, how they need to go, and all of that sort of stuff.
So somebody's asking about the loot spawning. They're asking if it's ever planned to fix it so that you can ride up to a building in a vehicle or a helicopter and loot it. Okay.
No, we won't be adding that. To be honest, if I could surround every town with something that vehicles cannot go into, I'd prefer to do that. I'd rather take the vehicles away from the players going into towns to some degree. The problem with the vehicles, the Zeds can't damage them properly, and when they can, it's a little buggy. Helicopters don't get damaged by Zeds at all, and when they do, it's once in a blue moon. So it's pretty much a free ride, like you're seeing now in the video. When we get out and you get into trouble, you run straight back to the helicopter, because you know the helicopter will protect you from the Zeds. If you take those factors away, you're going to be having a lot more trouble all the time.
Okay, so somebody's asking if there's any changes to the map plan.
To the map?
Yeah.
No, there's no changes for them. We're not going to do any changes just yet to the map until we can get other things we want planned, done.
Okay.
And I know the guys are working on new loot spawns around the map, so as I was saying earlier, the loot spawn system changed for that purpose, so we can get new spawns into the map in new areas, or in new locations within the same buildings, like the barracks. You walk into a barracks, where's the first 4 places you go? Each corner of the barracks. Now, if we take that system away and start spawning loot around the barracks a lot more randomly, it's going to change how the game feels, how the game actually plays. And that's what we're trying to do all the way around. Adding loot to like the wrecks on roads. I don't know if you've seen that yet, but there's you can get loot out of wrecks on the road now.
Okay.
So we are trying without actually changing the map. Changing the map is a drastic change, and we need to fill out a lot of the other stuff before we start making the big drastic ones.
Okay. Somebody's asking if we can study bodies and stuff, like a better body studying system, so it's more detailed about how the person died.
We are looking into it at the moment. We have changed the study body a little bit, but there's a few problems with it. How much more detail do you want, I suppose, is the question. There's no player identities on the characters at all at the moment, so how much more information can we give without it breaking any immersion, which is the big key everyone shouts about.
People, I think what he's meaning to say is like when you search a body, like I guess I could say all the time, Like if you check a body, it will just say like the player's name was killed by an unknown cause. Like people want to know who killed that player or who did what, so that they can kind of be the hero, I guess.
I would say just like a gunshot to the shoulder or something.
Well, from what I've
Yeah,
seen so far, if you look at a dead body, it'll say it was shot to the head. So
Yeah, it does actually do that now, but it's not quite accurate. That's what
no,
I'm trying to
it's
say.
because we're fighting the blood system all the time. Because the blood system's kind of different to how Armor 2 reads and writes everything. The most of the time you get killed by blood loss, which doesn't really give you much info. But when you do get the cases where someone's been headshot, you do get more info. So it's a system that we're always fighting, like with most of the systems with Armor 2. We're fighting all the time. We may get them right eventually, but it's going to take time.
Oh, and one annoying thing that I think could probably be fixed easily, like when you put things in tents, it doesn't really show you how much room you have left in the tents. Like, say when you're looking in your backpack, it has like the number of how many spaces it has and how much you have left. Would it be possible to implement that into like tents or vehicles? Because I put plenty of things in tents where I thought they were like not full, and then they just delete the thing.
Yeah, we did in point 7.
Yeah, it shows
Yeah,
on the top right.
yeah, I'll show you guys right
Yeah,
now.
Mulder, pull it
Uh,
up.
yeah. So if I go into the gear menu here, right at the top, you can see how many slots are left. So it says 1 weapon, 11 items, and 4 backpacks. And the weapons, it's a bit odd because tools are also counted as weapons. So if I put, say, my NVGs, if I had some in here, it would take up 1 slot, or if I put my matches in there, it would take up 1 weapon slot.
Do sidearms take up weapon slots?
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
So that system has been done. We did bring that system in point 7. It is a little bit difficult to tell in point 7, but hopefully the new UI, the new gear UI should help that out a little bit more with the pictures in the top corner. Hopefully.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
looks
yeah.
nice.
From seeing him do that, it seemed a little bit easier, but I personally just haven't been able to see it in the new ones.
Yeah, there is a case factor that it could not put, maybe not being pulled up for you, depending on how you're actually looking at the helicopter when you're looking at the gear, because it's based off your cursor. So if you're looking away from the helicopter and you're actually, using the gear menu, because you can do that, you may not be getting the figures in the corner as well. It is.
Okay.
There is a few things you can get missed on that.
Wait, Cola, I don't think it's possible to make it so the tools have their own section.
We can, but then we still have to fight Armor 2's engine all the time.
Yeah, well,
It's-
yeah, that's what I'm saying, like,
Yeah, sometimes it's better to leave what we don't need to fight alone, rather than trying to fight more with the engine than we need to. Our DayZ is so heavily scripted already that we prefer to leave some things alone, so we don't have to kill ourselves. The carry slot alone, once we do get that implemented, that's going to be changing it enough to cause us problems.
alright, there's an M14 aim here if you want to go pick it up and throw it in the helicopter.
Okay, sure, I can go do that.
We need to get fuel as well.
Yeah, we will. But, so somebody's asking if you can add, like, completely random weapon spawns to, residential. So, say one guy is, like, might be a total gun nut and he'll have, like, a sniper rifle in his house. Another guy might have, like, a pistol. So it's a bit, like a really rare chance of having, a military gun spawn in a residential.
We do have some weapons spawned, but we'd have to do a bit more background check on Chernos to see how Chernos actually is as an area, whether it's how they are with weapons.
Well, isn't this real world Czech Republic really?
It is to some degree, but we'd still need to check on how weapon orientated they are really. Because obviously you go to some areas and there'll be major weapons everywhere, and you go to some here in the UK we can't have weapons at all.
I mean, here I got
Somebody-
four firearms in my house right now. Alright, I got a question actually. Can you change how much place the sidearm takes up? Because two M1911 does not take up as much room as an M107. That's actually an interesting question. I was wondering that myself.
Nah, I suppose we can. When we go back through the classes, in the next couple of patches, we're going to be changing the whole system for the class. Bloody hell. For the whole class system. At the moment, what's happening is we changed something like the I don't know, say the M107 is the best one that comes to my mind. We changed the M107 and then we downloaded the beta, and the beta actually changed it back and give you an auto lock-on box. I don't know if anybody remembers that little box that came up in point 6.
Yeah, I saw that.
That box was actually a cause of the Armour 2. Someone editing something in the beta. They changed one of the base classes for the M107, so we got an auto lock-on. So what we plan to do is take away all that system. So our systems will rely only on our systems, not on whether the betas update something there, because that's the biggest killer for us at the moment. Every time the betas update, we're having to worry about what they've changed. And then, as 1.6 showed, if we miss something, it gets through, and like you had auto lock on for the M107. So we plan to take all that away and build full configs for every one of the items for DayZ, and then store them in DayZ separately.
Somebody's asking what the carry slot is for.
What green slot?
The carry slot.
Oh, quick switch between melee and normal.
Okay.
Oh my god, so amazing.
Oh my god, zombies. Alright,
So we can have
I'm
like a
about to jump in the
hatchet and
chopper.
machete in there.
Let's go,
Razor,
let's go,
mention
let's
That's it.
go!
something in Team
If you're
Skype.
watching the stream now, you'll see the Zeds. They're pretty much one go inside the chopper blades because of the bounding box issues. This is one of the big problems we're having to fight all the time.
Wait, so you can like switch between a gun and like a machete or axe.
No, you will be able to some degree. There'll be some limitations on it, and well, yeah, we'll get to those limitations when it all gets passed
Alright,
up.
the guy in the chat's also saying, so you're saying that I could have more than one M1911 in a small backpack?
No.
Alright. I guess that's your answer, mate.
No,
can
we're
make
not.
You can make it all like Tomb Raider-like, where you can pull out dual pistols.
He's
Yeah,
also
that's
asking
right.
why.
Well, that's our fear, having so many weapons accessible in one go.
I guess
We
it's
may-
a balance issue,
Be
maybe.
very inaccurate, but it would be funny.
It would be
Yeah,
actually
it
funny
would-
to just run out, guns blazing, 2 pistols.
Max Payne style.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're not
you
taking
could
me
run out
alive,
with 2
motherfucker.
pistols and run and shoot at zombies. I mean,
Chug down painkillers and then shoot everyone.
Some pain pillars.
Yeah, that's a hard one for balance. We got to try keeping the balance. We can't have you all running around with well,
So it
assault
would be
rifles
funny as
galore.
hell. I would enjoy that.
I'm sure it would be fun, but yeah. I'm
think
sure
anyone
I'll
would
get-
take
Saying
that
something.
seriously.
I'm sorry, say again.
I don't think anyone would take that mechanic seriously.
No.
No.
No, I wouldn't. It'd be funny though.
So yeah,
So,
the plans with the carry slot is going to be melee weapons and then vehicle parts. More info will come out once we start getting it down to exact details of code and what we can't do and all that sort of stuff.
in future
So-
updates, are you guys gonna add like bigger jerry cans? Because in like DayZ Origins, there's they have the big jerry can, which is like I think it's like 4 jerry cans in one. I think is what it is. Are you guys
It is.
ever gonna add something kind of like that to future updates?
Again, how would you carry it?
A car.
I mean, it takes up like
It takes up
9
9
slots,
slots.
like almost
Yeah.
a weapon, but
yeah, well, if you're thinking of how big it is, you wouldn't normally be able to carry it unless you were a freaking muscle monkey.
That's
well,
like,
I mean, would you be able to fit a gun in a backpack?
Well,
I
survival
mean,
No.
of the fittest.
but this is the argument we've got to get through. We have to put some weapons with bigger slots. Like weapons have 10 slots, but fuel cannons at 20 liters don't have, only 3 slots missing. We start putting 50 liters, 200 liter bloody fuel cans in. We're getting to the point of, well, yeah, this takes it a little too far. That they are getting a little far off the beaten track there for immersion and all the rest of it. Yes,
Okay,
it'll be
so
nice, but yeah.
I mean, you
Justin
guys.
R.
Oh, no,
Justin
you
R.
can
One
go.
two three four five. That is the inventory system that Standalone has, pretty much. So yeah, he's talking about like having the grid squares, and then whichever item has a certain like size, kind of.
Sort of like Resident Evil.
Yeah. But yeah, like that was basically something I was always wondering, because loot size, being able to carry a freaking helicopter rotor, that doesn't make any logical sense to me. But
Well, yeah, but then for us
how are
to
you gonna carry it
change
in the
that,
first place?
yeah, for us to change that now is going to be a drastic step.
Yeah.
People are used to it, and for us to change it, it's going to be a lot of code to change,
Yeah.
to put weights on backpacks, to put weights on all items, and new code for all the items.
Though,
Not to mention the, not to mention the fighting that we'd have to do for the gear menu. The gear menu is actually Armor 2. It's not ours. We still have to abide by Armor 2's system, so we're still limited to some degree.
yeah.
I mean, you guys could go the Elder Scrolls route and make it where if you fill up your entire inventory, you walk really, really, really slow.
Yeah, see, we have discussed this. This has come to the table a few times. We got to find a good balance between everything's about balance. As you saw, a small change to say the infection, zero point 0.2 of a difference we've noticed between this version we have now and the 0.7 version, and that 0.2 of a difference is enough to cause us no infection after a couple of hits. But you go in 0.7 and you can get hit straight away, pretty much instantly, and get infection. So there is very fine balancing details we're going to need to go through and fix out for everything we're doing at the moment.
And I just thought about it. I mentioned earlier about the zombies like making you bleed in one hit, and I understand you want to make them a threat, but can you at least not make it one hit? Make it like 2 or 3 or something? Because it
Well, it's
gets
all about
really
how hard they
annoying.
hit you.
Yeah, it's about the hardness that they hit, the amount of force they hit you with, the multiplier. That multiplier is the key system. It's also the one that decides whether you go unconscious, how deep the wound is, how much you bleed. That's the key one.
But when like 5 zombies in a row, completely different zombies hit you one hit and you bleed, that's kind of messed up.
Well, again, it depends on how they hit you. If you take into to account depth of wounds, the stronger they hit you is how deep they're hitting. If they hit you with a good force to make it a good deep wound, which is the case when you bleed, you're going to bleed no matter how they hit you. It doesn't matter. You can fall down the stairs and bust your leg and bleed out. It's there's a fine balance between realism, immersion, gameplay. We still have to get that balance right, and it is hard. But point 7 is actually closer to Dean's original versions than any point 6 was. So we're not going off track, we're actually coming back onto track. Point 6 changed everything because we made it easy. Point 7, we're taking it back to how Dean originally wanted it.
So somebody asks if there can be like a fuel hose or something, so you can link the fuel and to the helicopter or something.
And this has actually been brought up, a fuel pump, a little manual fuel pump that you can put a cable into, a pipe into the fuel tank, and then one into the helicopter and pump it, fuel it in. It's possible.
In Lingor, there was like a thing where you could fly your helicopter over and it would just refill it right there. Like you wouldn't have to connect anything. I mean, that's kind of not right there, but I mean it's kind of similar idea. Like because in Lingor you could just like fly your heli right over top of a refuel thing and it would just fill it up there, and then you could just fly away. I mean, if you could do something like off, kind of similar to that, I guess.
Yeah, but then we go back to the point of where's the threat? Where does the threat come into it? If you're in the middle of a zombie apocalypse or apocalypse of any sort, fuels are going to be high sought out areas. So if you're giving everyone a way to just hover over a fuel tank, not take any real damage or any real threat, then we're taking away the threat and that possibility of causing more problems and all of that. So then where does the threat come from?
You could like siphon fuel out of cars and stuff. Like I know they're like broken down cars on the side of the road and stuff. Would it be possible in a future update to add where you can like get a fuel can and maybe fill it a little bit up from one car and like go to another and just keep filling it up that way?
Yes, that is possible. So that is a good one that has been brought up many times already. We just haven't got around to doing it yet. Same as the blood bagging one, where blood bags are not actually found in hospitals. You only find an actual bag that symbolises the blood bag, and you have to take blood out of yourself to fill the blood bag to be able to store it as a blood bag. And that's another one that's came into play because there's always a threat there. You're always going to have to go and get bags, same as the fuel. You always have to get out of the vehicle. You're always going to have to go fill the fuel can and then back. So there is a threat there. It gives us a gameplay element of threat all the time. That's what we want. So yes, they are very much possible.
So somebody right now is asking if you can make it so that you can siphon gasoline from like a car to a different car.
Well, that's what we were just on about. That's what
Okay.
Cornish was just on
Okay.
about just then.
I,
So
I
yeah,
have,
it definitely is possible, and it would fit into what we see as a game and how we'd be able to make a threat out of it all the time. So yes, that is possible. Whether we can get it done or not fast enough is another question, but yes, it is possible.
kind of going on about that question. Would it also be able to like take parts of another car and move on to the car that you're actually trying to fix if you have the toolkit?
Yeah, we've looked at this as well again. Technically, yes, and it would fit all the requirements that we look for. But then, what do we do with all these broken down cars all over the map? We just leave because they keep being updated every time a player goes near, but they don't actually move, so they're not actually being changed in the database in any way. They're just sitting idle. No new one will ever spawn because, well, the server doesn't know that it needs to be removed or anything else. So how will it help the actual gameplay overall? You'd have to manually go through the database, removing the vehicles with no parts, and it's a lot of work. And then you have to work out which vehicles actually have no parts, which vehicles are still in original locations, or if they've been moved, have they been moved and have no parts, or are they still being used, are they still being updated? There's no way we can accurately foresee that in a database, not a mass big database. On a small server, we might be able to fiddle around and get what we need out of the database and just move things manually. But on a big automated system, it's not really possible for us to track.
I just saw a cool question in chat. Someone mentioned like where if you break your bone, you could do like a makeshift stick or something and like get your leg to be straight again, but like run at a reduced speed or something like that.
This has been brought up again, but we come back to the animations. This problem we've got until we can start getting people that can do animations, we get stomped on all of this. It's same as the Zeds have to stop to attack a player. They can't just run and attack a player because animation stops us.
This is kind of weird. Like, I never understood this, but why can't you eat while inside a vehicle?
Unfortunately, there's quite a lot of loopholes and exploits in that factor. So we took them away, and by taking them away, obviously, you can't eat or drink. But if we add them back, it brings in more exploits again that can be exploited.
I didn't notice any exploits, but I guess some other people did. But that makes sense.
Yeah, unfortunately, we found a lot ourselves. Even when we was testing this officially and before, you get a lot of issues with exploits. Exploits at the moment are the biggest killer of DayZ. Players that don't want to play DayZ how DayZ should be played, they just want to exploit every single factor of the game. Now, in some ways, some of the exploits are part of the gameplay, but when you're putting magazines in your backpack and logging off to log back on to fill them back up, or you're trying to cheat the system for the sake of cheating the system because you can't be bothered to do anything else, it gets to a point where it's tedious.
Okay. Some people in the chat are asking about like drugs and stuff, and I think the main problem with that would be like controversy around that. Yeah. Even if it's realistic or whatever, I think that a lot of people wouldn't like that in the game.
Yeah, I think we'd cause a lot of trouble with that. I don't think it'd be anything possible.
Add the very rare spawn of finding Walter White, and I'll sell you some blue meth.
Yeah, That's
A
that's a
Walter
bit
White
pushing
zombie
it.
and there's meth on his body.
Yeah, he gets some meth on his body. You can't take it or anything, but it would just be like a souvenir.
Have him
Yeah.
driving around
Ooh,
the
piece
map
of
with his
candy.
trailer.
Ooh, piece of candy.
That's another question. Oh no, that's more a standalone question. My bad.
I got a question from my chat. Are you planning to add more slots to your inventory because now it's 12 slots? It's kind of small.
For now, no.
Guess that's your answer.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
and would it be possible to add like different like weapon attachments or whatever? Like go into a military spawn, there'd be like a rare chance of finding like a sniper scope or something that then you could put on like an M14 or something like that.
We can't fit attachments is good. We really want to do the attachment system, but unfortunately, Arma 2 doesn't have an attachment system at all. Only the models that have a base model that has no sight, a base iron sight, and then has another variant of the same weapon with a sniper scope on it. Those are the only weapons we can actually do anything with. Um, it's not like Arma 3 and DayZ will be where you can put pretty much any scope on any weapon sort of thing. There's too many limits to what we can do. It is a really good idea though. We really want to do it with the crafting system, but we will be limited quite a lot with it.
So I know the
So-
standalone has gotten a lot of these questions, but what about weapons taking actual damage from, say, shooting at them? Would that be something that's possible in the mod?
Yes, I don't think it would be. No, I don't know if we'd be able to do that. I could look at it, but I don't think we'd be able to.
So somebody's just been asking about wind and windage and stuff like that. Anything to do with guns, really? That would be on Arma's side. Can't really change that too much, I don't think.
Yeah, the windage we are looking at the windage system. We have looked at that before. We already have the scripts in place for that. They're all sat on GitHub at the moment. We just have to implement it, but we have to implement it in a way that the players can read the wind, where they're coming from, and all the rest of it. So again, it takes a lot of time for us to get all that system in. We're not a massive team. We've only got, I think it's four coders, a couple of modders, a couple of artists. We're not massive. We're only a small team, and we all work. So we do have a lot of limitations on what we can do.
Somebody's asking if there's a way to like terraform, so maybe you could put a trench in the map to sit in, something like that.
For what?
Well, like a trench, Well, it doesn't have to be a trench. It could be like a hole in the ground or like something to that extent. I don't know.
Basically altering the map.
Yeah.
Yeah. If come back to modifying the map, it's going to take a while for us to even look at modifying the map, get new areas done, Well, it's not something we're going to be able to do straight away now. It's going to take a while before we can look at that. Unless we get someone from the community that decides, oh yeah, I'll look at the map. And starts going through the map issues.
How's your day going?
Oh, what was that?
How's your day going?
How's my day going?
Yeah.
It was quite nice weather today. It's the middle of the night now, isn't it, for me? Let me check.
You got a
Yeah.
bag.
12:30 at night now. And I'm answering questions about a mod.
You can
Oh,
always
yeah.
have the nice
Yeah, I
questions.
can't help you. I don't have a bag.
Well, yeah, true. It's
My
quite
fault.
nice. We haven't got any bad ones yet. That's quite nice.
Well, actually,
Got
I've been kind of
Stop
filtering
moving.
them out in the chat.
Stop moving. Stop moving.
There hasn't really been anything terrible.
Would it be possible in some form to add like melee or hand-to-hand combat in the game? Because right now when you spawn in as a fresh spawn, you only have your hands and you're absolutely terrible at doing anything until you actually find a weapon. Would there be some way
Yeah.
to change around that?
Melee's always going to be hard. Arma 2 doesn't have a melee system. Now we are looking at creating a new melee system altogether, so the like axes don't fire bullets. But for us to be able to get a hand-to-hand melee system, that's going to be tough. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but when you go near a Z and a Z tries to attack you, the Z doesn't actually do anything. You attack yourself. You hit yourself based on what the Z's doing. So if you're trying to do hand-to-hand and you're going in to punch them or hit them, then you're actually getting into most of the cases that allow the Z to hit you and you take damage. So yeah, hand-to-hand is going to be a very hard one. It's the main reason we have such a distance on the axes. So you fire with axe and you get about a meter or so distance between the axe and the zombie actually hitting. Otherwise,
Firing bullets out of an axe.
otherwise we're going to have too many other issues.
Alright, guy in my
Okay, so-
chat is asking, I just figured it'd be easier for you to explain it. The carrying option, I told him it's not implemented yet, but what it actually is going to be. Figured it'd just be better if you explained it.
Melee and vehicle parts,
basically.
but for the moment it'll be melee. So it'll be quick switch for melee. But you will not be able to place other guns in there. So there'll be a limitation of what you can do to it.
I was thinking about something that it would, like, you can put a weapon in your backpack and everything, and I was thinking about what if, like, when you put the weapon in your backpack, it would still be in your backpack slots, but when you look at your physical character, like underneath his backpack or on the side or something, there'd be the weapon there, and then when you take it out and switch and all that stuff, it would just kind of, like, switch the weapons.
Yeah, it'll be something we have to look into a lot more. I know we have a planned system already, and I know they're moving along with the planned system, but how much we can actually get done is dependent on Arma 2's gear system. As I say, we still very much dependent on Arma 2's gear system, and it hurts a lot of the time. It's the best way to put it.
Somebody's asking about the spawn rate of antibiotics, if there's any plan to change that.
Is there an issue with it at the moment? I know people have brought up to the point that they say they can't find them, but then if you look around the forums, there's a 50-50 split. There's a lot of people saying they can find them, and there's a lot of people saying they can't find them. So the actual individual antibiotic rate, no, we won't be changing. However, we have added 2 new medical boxes, well, 1 new medical boxes that spawns in 2 places, infected camps and hospitals. And we have changed, we have spawned a little bit more loot. Now, I've put on the change log that we spawn 1 guaranteed item. We've changed that a little. We've took away the guaranteed item and we've increased the bios so we do get more spawns around the map. But they're generalized spawns. You still will find trash, you still will find useless items. How it plays out and how it actually going to affect the gameplay, we won't know until it gets pushed smashed to everyone else. The best testing will be once everyone else gets it and they give us feedback.
When will the next patch be released?
No idea.
Alright, I got a question.
How about like
for somebody. Sorry to interrupt. This guy's asking if there's going to be something like a hotbar like in Minecraft. Like, I guess to switch between certain specific items, you could place food or something like in there, so you don't have to go and dick around in your gear to go get it.
To be honest, no. I don't think we're going to bother with it. I know Standalone's got a toolbar from the videos they've shown, but I don't think we're going to be bothering with it at all. In all fairness, I'd like to get rid of some of the icons on the screen. I don't like them at all. I think we should be doing things differently to the character. If we had enough control over the character, model-wise, how they move, how they change, I'd like to move like the food, the water, the blood, and everything away from the screen, and have it impact on the character, shown on the character as you're moving around.
Well,
I have
something I have to just say about that. I noticed when I had my lower PC, I didn't have a lot of options enabled, and the post-processing effect added the hold on. There was talk about removing the blood bar a while ago. I can't remember what it was. I mean, it did get removed, but aside from the thing saying how much blood you have, when I was low on blood on my other computer, I couldn't tell because I didn't have the issue. I had fading out a little bit, but it wasn't that big of an issue because I had my post-processing all the way off, so no blurring, no nothing. So I don't know if that'd be an issue for people with lower PCs. I don't know. That
Yeah,
would be
the,
something for you to answer.
it's one of them issues with the engine again. We can change it all day long, but people are going to get round it by just changing settings in the
Yeah.
options. So there's not really much we can do about it. We can start forcing it, and I'm sure we'll get so many complaints by that. Sorry, Storm, go on.
Is there any?
I have a different question.
Yeah, go on.
It's just about DayZ. Like, how come the debug monitor was removed?
The debug monitor was added as a debug monitor. It wasn't added to be left there all the time. The debug monitor breaks a lot of the systems that we don't want you to know. It's like humanity. Why do you need to know what humanity's level is? Honestly. If you're playing the game, like you should be playing the game, you've got really no need to know what your humanity is. If you want to become a bandit, you become a bandit. If you want to switch between becoming a bandit hero and a normal player, you're going to want to know what your level is all the time.
Alright, I have a different question. Will there ever be, like, maybe, like, exact number of what your blood is? Like, on your screen display? Maybe, like, under the actual blood icon?
For the moment, no. As I say, I'd rather get rid of all of that, to be honest with you. But, no, I don't think so. I think we give enough information by the blood sign image in the centre of it. Once it gets down to a certain point, you're in trouble. You need to start looking at ways to fix it.
Is there?
Oh, what?
No,
Okay,
you
fine.
can go.
Alright. I saw that in the changelog you added difficulties. Maybe you could like add the debug monitor to the easy difficulty and like remove it for the harder difficulties.
Yeah, but if you read further down that changelog, you'll also know that we've took it off. One second.
Also, server owners can have their own, if it's private hive, they can have their own debug monitor, so...
Well,
I don't think that's
debug
too
monitors private hives can do anyway. There's nothing stopping the private hives doing that. They've always been able to do that.
Is
But
there any?
the difficult setting is going to be a hard one. We can't allow different levels of difficulty on the official hive. We just can't do it. There'll be too many issues, too many people that would abuse it in too many ways. So we can't allow it.
I don't want the difficulties anyways.
The
Yeah.
difficulties would make it like too easy for like players, and probably people would abuse it and be like, you're super good at the game, but you go on easy difficulty just to get the extra stuff.
Exactly.
Well,
That's
I
why
have to
we don't
go.
want it.
Thanks for the opportunity.
No worries. Thank you.
And is there any way you guys can add a like FOV bar? Because I know you can go into the actual settings of Arma and change it, but is there any way you guys can implement an FOV bar?
We could. The question is, what would the purpose be of it for it?
To field of view. I mean,
Yeah.
like default field of view isn't that much, and just as an example, like other games that I play, I turn my field of view up because I sit close to my monitor, so I mean I like to see a greater area around me.
Yeah, no, I understand that, but then what happens when all of these players, because you know this will happen, all of these players start changing it to stupid ass levels and their computer can't handle it, and we start having so many issues with, things not spawning properly, and like we're having now, because computers can't handle how DayZ is. It will give too many more ways for everyone to mess up their system and give us more trouble than we need. We have so many issues now because PCs can't handle DayZ, because we can't give minimum specs of DayZ. It's Armor 2 is the minimum specs, and people don't understand that DayZ is heavily scripted and it needs a hell of a lot more.
Very true, but yeah.
So yes, we could in theory, and I would love to. And on DayZ standalone, I hope Rocket does. It adds some kind of field of view or changes it to some degree. But on the mod, I don't think it's realistic enough for us to do. No, it's not in our scope to be able to do it and then handle all the issues that go with it. And you know what I mean.
Alright, so you mentioned before that you already feel like there's way too much HUD in-game as it is at the moment. I'm thinking naturally you would want to remove the sight and the sound bar, but besides that, what else would you like to see removed if it were up to you?
Yeah, to be honest, I'd remove all of them. I really would. Now, the ideas come to us before that instead of having them on the screen all the time, that you actually press your gear menu and they come up under the gear menu. Now, yes and no, we're going to get problems with that, but I would really love to remove them. So when you get hungry, your character's stomach rumbles, starts rumbling, or you're thirsty, you get some visual sign that your character's thirsty, rather than a little UI telling you that you're thirsty. We'd like those sort of implementations. Your temperature, you start shaking. That sort of system.
Yeah.
It would feel so much better than having a silly little UI telling you everything. To be honest, how many of you actually use the sight and sounds measurement bars?
I do, to kind
Oh,
of
you
get away
do?
from zombies.
Yeah, I do
But
actually.
that's kind of one of my. It doesn't feel like it really belongs in there that you have a bar displaying these kind of things for you.
That
Because
is
that
true,
should be
though.
like the natural instinct for you when you run around. You have the gear, or well, the
The
sight of your player and the sound levels.
the question, another thing I have about that is, if it's constantly changing, if you're trying to constantly tweak uh, how zombies see and interact with the people or the players, you almost kind of have that there until they figure out exactly how they want the zombies to act, and then we can get rid of it after the players realize this.
Well, yes and no. If people pay attention, they'd know straight away. You can see how they react. You can get a good distance view on a player, but then you also have lag and all the rest of it that comes into it. So there is issues that still need us to have them there. But again, I would love to remove them. I'd love to have everything built around the character rather than some little UI on the screen. And I think a lot of people that play the game for the right reasons would think the same.
And I saw someone mention in chat about blood regeneration. I know that you guys want to have like the blood bags, and eating the meat will give you blood back and food and everything. But it is actually true that in real life, if you do lose blood, your blood kind of does regenerate, I guess, at a certain kind of level. Is there any way that you guys could implement that, like have where your blood will regenerate over time?
There is, but then what kind of system would you put in? How would you do it over separate systems, um, over different time zones, over different restart systems on different servers? All servers have a different restart time. I don't think there's many that have the same sort of restart timers. A lot of them do split between 3 hours to 6 hours, 2 hours to 4 hours. So how would we implement it to be real with still having the threat that blood is an issue without having to, oh, I'm just going to go offline, or go and stand in this field for an hour and regen blood?
Well,
And
we'll do it like
User joined your
as your
channel.
character is in the actual server. It bases it off that, not like server restarts and all that kind of stuff.
yeah, but then again, still, how would you do it in enough of a way, but not enough of a way to not cause it to be a problem?
Because like humanity, when it comes to like being a hero, I think if I'm thinking of it right, it's like every like hour or two or something, you get like a little bit of humanity. You could do something kind of like that, where like every hour you're in game or something, you gain like a little bit of blood back if you lost any.
But that would move away from the realism point again, because like normally when you lose blood, or you say you donate blood to some clinic or some whatever, it takes you like 4 to 6 weeks to actually regenerate that blood, and during that time, you also have to keep up a functional body through liquids and food. So that's already in the game through that system.
Yeah, see, that's where we come into the strong points of how we implement something like that to be real and to play out in a game. It is a game. We got to realize it is a game. So we still got to think of how we can keep it as the game, but bring all this in. So there is still possibility for it. It's just it may need a bit of thought about it. That's all. A lot more thought about it, to be honest. But it's definitely not out of the question. I suppose it could be done.
And you were talking about crafting a lot earlier. Is it possible to make it where, like, just for example, you kill a goat or something, and you could skin it, and you could use that to make like clothing or something?
Clothing, not so much, no, because we'd be limited by what we can build for a character around the model, which we don't have access for. So for clothing, no, but for other things, yes. So I know one thing that came up quite a bit is the sandbags and the stashes. Why do we need sandbags to use stashes? Now, officially we don't. We could get a sheepskin and then wrap your things in a sheepskin and put it in the ground. But you'd still need to wrap it in something to put it in the ground. You wouldn't be able to just put items in the ground and expect them to be fine. So yes, there is possibilities for that later, but again, it depends on who can get the models done, the textures, all the rest of it to get them in game.
And someone mentioned more silent weapons. He mentioned a bow, which I know would be very hard to add, but will there be any other silent weapons other than like the M9 and the M4?
Outside of melee, I don't think so, no. I think if we start adding more melee, silence weapons, we're going to start taking the point of the end game weapons away as well. Because at the moment, the end game weapons are the SD weapons. There is no other weapon that's end game. Even when the 50 cows are out, they're not really end game. It's the two silent weapons, the M9 and the M4A1.
Because I mean, like for my group, and I'm pretty sure for like more groups, it's kind of like we have like our MKs and our M14s and stuff like that are like our weapons that we actually care about. And then whenever we go somewhere that we don't want to lose anything, we'll take that M4 silence because it's kind of a gun. Like it's not that hard to find, so we don't really care about it. I mean, you could do something like that because I mean, the M4 silence kind of isn't that much of a PvP weapon because the Stanag rounds, it takes a couple bullets to kill someone, unlike other weapons.
Yeah, so you're mainly asking for a PvP aspect.
Yeah, well, the carrying system that he was talking about, I think that would kind of work with that, because, like, you know, if you got a main weapon, you can switch right out to your melee weapon. You know what I mean? So, I think that would sort of fix itself with the carrying.
I have a question. Are there plans for more like weapons to be added in DayZ? Because Nam Owls has like different weapons than actual DayZ.
We could add them, but we'd have to get permission from the owners of the other mods. I know there's a lot of mods out there that have a lot of weapons. Now we probably just need to approach them and ask them for permission, grant all the normal credits and everything else for the weapons. It'll be a case of just having to go out and ask them and trying to fit them into DayZ, around DayZ. A lot of us are questioning whether we need all the military weapons as it is. Would Chernos have a lot of these military weapons? To be honest, I don't think they would.
I don't know, it just seems like a lack of like a thrill of getting a different weapon, because most of the time I'm like getting like probably like the same weapon, like a M4A1 or like M16, and it's like, you know, it would feel a lot better if there was more like a bigger variety of weapons.
I don't know. I'd like to run into some 22 caliber rifles.
Yeah, it's definitely not. It's not off the table. It just means we'd have to get permission a little bit more and all the rest. It's definitely not off the table. We can look at it, but as it stands, I'd rather demilitarize a lot more than rather add more military weapons. But then, I suppose if we can get more background information for Chernos and what the residents of Chernos is, what the military camps up there, how the military is around that area, I suppose we could look at it more.
Well, I mean, considering Chernarus is a fake country, I mean, it is based off of the Czech Republic, so I guess you'd have to use the Czech Republic and their laws. I'll just Google it now. I'll see.
Someone's mentioning in chat about something where rockets said you were immune to getting infected, yet we're getting infected. I haven't personally heard of that, but he's talking about it. I don't know what that means.
The infection is not like the infection per se of all of the zombies, right? The infection is more of like a disease that you catch. So you know how the zombies are all like filthy and stuff. They sort of will have a
User
disease
joined your
maybe,
channel.
and you might catch that. Know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
75 years, Maldo.
I know. I'm pro.
Thanks for doing this, by the way.
Oh, and there was a while back, I think it was like in a changelog where you said female characters would be able to like wear ghillies and stuff, yet I played as a female character and I was never able to do that. Are you guys ever gonna like add different skins and stuff to females and maybe allow them to wear stuff? Because like females have those white beacon pants that you can see plain as day. So could they get like costumes a little bit like the male survivors?
Back then, we did have a system in place for the ghillie suit. So you run around as a female character and you changed into a ghillie suit, and it actually changed you into the male model for the ghillie suit. Now, the amount of issues this caused was unreal. We was on about this the other day with Seven. The amount of issues that caused for immersion and why have I looked like a male character, and it kind of got silly. So we took it back out and we stopped the females from spawning, from being allowed to do that. It's not out of the question, but again, we need people to do textures, models, and all the rest of it, because a lot of the armor ones do work but don't look right.
7, do you want me to go pick you up somewhere?
Yeah, also appreciate if you could get that login thing sorted.
Where exactly are you on the map?
La Patina.
Okay, at your
Wow, their
bridge.
laws are completely confusing. The Czech Republic's laws.
Well, I was wondering if this might have been asked before, but are you gonna bring the SUV back?
SUV is the best vehicle of all time.
Oh yeah.
Most common gun owned.
Someone in chat's talking about like rideable animals, and they're making.
This is not
they're making
Minecraft. This is not Minecraft.
I know they're mentioning alpacas, which is funny,
What?
but like horses, like find a horse somewhere and be able
I
to
guess you
ride
could
it.
technically do that, but it takes forever to tame a horse. They're not just gonna go, "Ooh, ride me."
Well, I mean, like there's like farms. I know in DayZ there are farms. I mean, like find a horse in like a
Yeah.
farm that's actually
Yeah, well,
already been
at that
tamed.
point, still, they're gonna be very distrusting of you.
True.
I mean, they're not just gonna be instantly, "Ooh, ride me." I mean, unless they're trained for everybody to go, "Ooh, ride me." They're not like a loose woman. Okay,
Oh,
that was a bad joke.
Oh, and what happened to the dogs? There was like a lot of talk about dogs being added, and then they like stopped. I've
I was
never
about to
seen a
ask
dog.
that.
We have an implementation of the dogs, but the dogs cause more issues than we want to look at. For what they do in the game, which is not a fat lot, they cause more issues than we need to deal with at the moment. I know some other mods have taken our original dogs and then they've modified them out. Yeah, fine, but they're still missing a lot of the main issues that we came up to, like being able to send your dog across the whole of the other map to attack someone. It gets silly at that point because they can't change it for the limitation of the engine.
Here's 7's amazing bridge of awesomeness camo nettings.
Yeah,
Wait, so
you guys
will
like-
they ever be released, or they're just gonna stay hidden?
I don't think we're going to release them. No, to be honest, I don't think we're going to get chance to or time to. With all the other stuff that we've got planned, trying to get dogs in and work the bugs out and get them to be useful in any way, it will cause too many issues. I mean, I don't think it's worth trying to get them in. They basically don't do anything.
Yeah, but there's kind of like the community. I know there's a lot of people that really want dogs, even though they may not do anything. People just want them for kind of like I guess, someone that they can trust. I don't know, like a companion to travel with. Like if you're kind of like a lone player and you don't play with people, you still have that dog to follow you.
Yeah, I mean,
I
like,
suppose.
We don't want to know what they're gonna do to the dog.
Mhm.
I mean, they don't need to do anything. Just let them follow you or something, and that would be like what would keep most people happy.
The
Or
only
sh-
what I'm thinking is that what if like would they make it so that what if the dog like attacks the zombie, right? Would they make it so that like the dog could get infected?
Zombie dog.
You're gonna
Because
make
that
it too. The game would be too sad. If
You're
you did
opening
that,
a
though.
whole can of what the fuck.
I'm thinking a lot more way. Like, if you really panic, if you really need that food, like, how much do you actually love your dog?
Come on, old Yeller style.
I'm pretty sure if you added where your dog would get sick and die, that would probably make a lot of people get way too emotional about the game and get really sad when their like dog that they spent like 5 days playing with just dies. You'd be really sad.
I'm assuming since most of the people on here are from Reddit that they've heard of this. Remember the story about the guy who met the Russian person randomly and then he like saved him? I don't remember what his name was, but imagine that story but with dogs.
Yeah, like you're running through town, you get surrounded by zombies, and all of a sudden a dog comes up and saves you. I have heard like on Reddit and stuff about taming a dog is like you give them some meat and stuff, and they'll start following you around. I mean, you could add where like you have to feed them and stuff, or they'll die, but you could feed them and just kind of run around with them. Maybe like they bark or something to let you know when a zombie knows you're at them or something like that.
Malco, that was the guy's name who was like there was a story about him.
Well, dogs
Yeah,
are a
man,
bit of a
I'm
dead
not laughing
discussion
at
anyway.
Oh, I see the heli.
Yeah. I'm gonna get across your bridge first.
Are you enjoying the bridge?
Yeah.
Some guy's talking about getting to like tennis balls or whatever to throw, and then your dog would chase it.
So we're turning DayZ into Nintendo dogs now.
Yeah.
I think Call of Duty's already doing that, guys.
Well, at least I didn't mention the people that want Pokemon in the game.
Dogs
Oh,
are
Hey,
yeah.
that would be awesome.
Oh
my
god.
An issue I would have with dogs is, again, they would be quite feral at this point, wouldn't they? How are you going to get them to trust you, too? You know, it's not
Well,
like
that
Minecraft
would
where you
be-
give them a bone and they're like, ooh, I love you now.
Well, no, I mean like what I talked about the meat and stuff. Like I heard stuff when they were about to come out that you could like tame them with giving them like raw meat or something like that, and then they would start trusting you. You'd have to
That
give
would take a
them
while, though. I mean, with a feral cat, it takes 2 weeks, maybe even more, depending on how old they are.
Yeah, I mean, like if you have a bunch of raw meat on you, you could give it to them, and then they would kind of trust you. Like you gain trust over time by giving them food or something. Like dogs could be in a certain area or whatever, and you could gain their trust by giving them food or something like that.
But should that be a 100% success rate? Like, if you say you find a ferocious dog and you try to feed it, should it just accept the meat or should it just, like, try to eat you instead?
Yeah.
Nah, I think it should
No.
be like a 30% chance or something that they'll attack you or something like that.
I don't know.
I have a question about like the canceled release of like pet dogs. Would there be like different type of breeds or like would you be able to own like multiple?
There was
And
two.
there was just one type of dog.
I mean, at this
No,
point,
there's
it's all
two
hypothetical anyway.
What were the two breeds? I only saw a German Shepherd.
Yeah, and there was a brown one as well, a pasta, and I think they were. There was two types.
You gotta
And
add
you're
like,
able to own like only one or like multiple.
When we were doing them, you could own about 50 at once at the time. Yeah.
wow, you can have like go
That'd
into
be
town with
awesome.
like an entire platoon of dogs behind you.
Like
It was
50
like I say, they didn't do
dogs.
nothing, so it wasn't really worth having the dogs. I don't think there's any mods that make the dogs do anything at the moment.
But Raiders, what happened if let's say you had 50 dogs and you died as a player, what would happen to the dogs?
Again, back when it was development, so they run back to the player. So yeah,
That's a
50
mess.
dogs run from one side of Northwest Airfield all the way back down to the beach.
That would look awesome though.
I mean, I would say not 50 dogs, but like limit it to like 2 or something, and then do like if you died, they would kind of like go back to where they spawned or just disappear, I guess, and you can like find them again. Like have that great love story where you're running throughout the forest and you find that dog that used to be your companion.
Just make
Yeah,
them go ferocious again.
that was definitely the idea with the dogs, but to be honest, like I say, it was whether it was worth the amount of time and effort then to do dogs for what they did. To be honest, they didn't really do anything, and we know. No, it doesn't matter. We it, at the, it's whether it's worth it to us to be able to put someone onto the dogs with all the other changes and all the other bits and bobs that we're doing. I know it doesn't seem like much to you guys, but when we're doing them, it's actually quite a lot. Just to change the little things in the game, like breaking your leg, running into a tree and breaking your leg. Again, we've stopped that, but no one's actually noticed that at all. There's
I
a
have a
lot of
question.
systems that have been changed and stopped that no one's actually notices. Yeah, go
I forgot my question.
on.
No, we appreciate it, Razor Man. Don't worry, we're happy.
So
Hey,
some
Maldo, are you
guy
still
in
around?
chat's mentioning
Yeah.
like a
Alright, I
jihad
sent you
bomb
the.
where you could get a bomb and put it on your chest and then blow up.
I can see that not going well.
Damn, I
No,
forgot.
why would you do that?
I don't know. That'd be another one that would be really
Naming
funny
it's
to
probably
have.
not a good idea as well. Especially, if people complain about the holy book being called the Bible.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
calling
that's
a
stupid that they
suicide bomb
complained.
a
I
jihad
hate
bomb
people
will not
complaining
go
that.
down well.
Remember the video you showed me, Seven, of the fire station?
Oh, I see a really good idea in chat. Someone mentioned like if you die and you have a dog on you, they just kind of sit by your dead body and they sit there either until you come back or they
User
just
joined
like
your
sit
channel.
there and if they get hungry, they'll start eating you and then they'll just kind of go off.
That'd be really good ideas. Yeah, that'd be
So
really good ideas if
sad.
we planned on bringing dogs back, but I don't think we do just now.
So is this open 11?
It's
Is it what?
actually open stream 11, actually.
Oh.
There's a live stream of like 70 people watching this channel, so.
Oh, shut up, Alpha.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Some guys talking about like cosmetic items, like instead of just having like tin cans being useless, have like money or other stuff like that, just kind of as
Well,
extra.
tin cans are actually pretty useful though.
Well,
Lipstick.
yeah,
we-
but he's talking about like money and
Yeah,
other
he's on
stuff.
about personal effects and stuff
Yeah.
like that. We have looked at this. We are looking at this, I should say, to have infected to have more of a personal information on them. So maybe wallet, pictures, money, things like that on the player. Because we presume obviously the infected would be normal humans that have been infected, so they would have some sort of trash loot on them as it is. So yeah, we are looking at that.
Okay, I have a question. Will the pathfinding ever be fixed? Because, I saw some footage of like the standalone, and like, I think Rocket said like, it's near being done. It's still in development, and it was still good, but like, will it ever be in like the actual mod?
I can't really answer much about this standalone, to be fair. For the mods, I don't think we're ever going to fix pathing issues fully. No, we will get round certain issues like we have in the past, and we have done for 0.7. But for every issue we get round, we create new issues that go with it. So we're never going to be able to fix it because it is engine side. Dean will have more control over it than we can because obviously he's got source access, he's got developer access. But I can't really give any information of what's being done on it or what's not being done on it.
I would like to get this out though. I am right in saying that the zigzagging is fixable.
We can bring it down to a massive degree, yes. So they can run in a straight line, but the amount of complaints that we did when we did that is unbelievable. So we put the zigzagging back. If you try getting a Z now, get him to aggro you about 300 meters away, you'll actually see him run in a straight line. It's only when he gets to within about 100 meters, 150 meters, he starts doing the zigzagging, and that's where they start running for cover. They're trying to go for cover all the time. Now we can change the behaviour to a certain degree and get them to run straight, but it causes so many issues trying to get them to do that continuously, not to the amount of people that complained about it when they were testing it back in 0.51, I think it was, when we first brought it in.
Yeah, I
Out
just
of
wanted to mention that on the
curiosity, what
stream
kind
because I
of
found that was a shock.
God.
That was a bit of a clusterfuck there.
Yeah, it was.
Alright. In chat, I see someone talking. He is saying about like tents and being
How they
able
shine.
to add extra things to the tents to make them not so easily seen from far away or from helis up and stuff because their color is different from like the trees around it and stuff. Is there any way you could implement something that you can like put on the tent or around the tent or something that can
But
conceal
like
it?
camo nets.
Yeah, well, from him flying over the camo nets in that heli during the stream, you can. I saw that you can see through the camo thing like really easily. He just flew over it and I could see straight through the ground and see like 1 or 2 specks of the camo.
Yeah, it's not something we can fix now.
I have a question.
There is an underlying issue with that, and I don't want to go into it because it leads to other exploits, so I'm not interested in.
And someone just added in do like at least like different colored tents, have like camo tents and stuff.
Again, they're all perfectly fine. We can do those. We can bring as many tents in as people want. The issue is having someone do the tents, getting the tents done. They have to be modeled, they have to be skinned, they have to be textured, all that. So we still need people to be able to texture. If someone comes to us with a load of textured tents and say, here's a load of skins that have been pre-textured, no problem, we'll get them added.
And then
Definitely going to clip that bit out of the video and put that on Reddit because I think that'd be something that a few people would be interested in. I think would benefit the mod pretty well if their team are interested in implementing.
Well, yeah, models are always welcome. We're not really worried about models. If someone can model or texture, yeah, they're more than welcome all the time.
And someone, I know you guys took out the radio out of DayZ, but someone mentioned in chat about like a radio and there'd be like kind of different frequencies for like you could maybe hear like a distress call from like a crash tele or something if you're close or something like that.
We actually have another idea with the radios that we're going to start looking at implementing. So I don't want to go into much more detail on that just now, because that will be something that they're looking at. I know the coders have been messing around with a radio system for a while.
And I kept hearing these things on Reddit about the DayZ like radio thing. Like as in like you can create your own radio stations and tune in and like listen to music and stuff. Like
Oh, that's for standalone, yeah. Standalone's going to have a radio system that you can tune into, so you can hear live broadcasts. I believe it is. I think there's a post on the forums about it.
Yeah, but like, what do you have to do to like make your own station for yourself? Like,
I couldn't tell you. I could not tell you. I don't really know at the moment.
I have a question about tents. Will the whole like tent system be improved, like for it being saved and stuff?
Somebody else fly, I'm gonna moderate.
What do you mean by that?
Oh, okay. Well, I can just do that. It's not that big
Well,
of a deal.
I've been flying for ages.
So I.
That's
Okay, whatever. I'll do it.
Yeah, sorry, Storm. Go on. What was that? What do you mean by saving? I'm not seeing any issue with the saving at all.
Well, like, I mean, like, it's the tents, like, you could save it, and you know that's work, but there's still the chance where, like, you will still lose your tent. Like, today, I lost, like, about 2 tents, and they were saved, like, yeah, they were saved, but it was just random, but, like, do you think the tents will ever be perfected about, like, or near perfected about being, like, saved and, like, glitchy and stuff?
Well, obviously they just haven't spawned back in. So when the server's been restarted, they haven't spawned back in.
That, and they also disappear if you don't access them for a certain amount of time. I think it's 7 days, is it?
Yeah, if they get deleted after 7 days if you don't access them. They get deleted after 14 days if your character has died, I think it is. I'd have to double check that one, depending on whether you're on a private or official. They get deleted if they've got empty inventories, and there is a chance that they may not spawn back in on a server restart. Could be 100 different reasons, like someone's parked something else, or the vehicle's moved, or an object on the map slightly moved that stops it respawning.
Well, like, will it ever, like, is it still being worked on, like, the glitches for the tent and stuff?
Well, the object spawn system's always being worked on. There's always something we're doing on the object spawn system. We have to improve it massively all the time, but we still have limits in the system. We still have to be able to spawn things safely in the system. And one of the massive issues we've got is we tried to fix last time was the putting trees in tents in trees and objects. This actually causes a lot of problems that people are not seeing. Yeah, it's great. You can spawn a tent in a set of logs, but how much of effect does that have on objects that spawn after it? Because obviously, if it's trying to spawn that object, it's moving along the system. As it spawns that one, it's moving into a new system to check all the layout. Now, if that system actually fails, it may actually fail something after that as well, which is a lot of problems that we've got with the object spawn system. But if we slow the system down, it also means you can't log in. It takes longer for you to log in. Obviously, if it takes longer for you to log in, how many new posts do we get about why is it taking so long to log in? Every issue comes with a new issue on top of it, or every issue or thing we try to resolve something comes with another 300 posts of why did we do it.
Another guy's asking about being able to combine tin cans and barbed wire and make it like a sound type thing so that you could throw it and it would create a sound kind of like flares and other stuff to distract zombies.
Yeah, well, that's possible, I suppose. When crafting comes in, we can look at things like that without a doubt. I know there's been talk about one of the guys doing resorting out the traps and stuff like that, which also plays. I know one of the traps he mentioned was like a piece of wire with tin cans on it or something. So yeah, it is possible, but a lot of the other systems will probably need to go in place before we start working on some of that stuff.
And then this
Yeah,
one
yes.
guy's like
Yeah,
getting really...
he's
No,
Talking
you
about
go.
how any ideas how to lower KOS.
KOS is a tough one. Unfortunately, KOS is part of DayZ, always will be part of DayZ. Now, I don't think we're ever going to get rid of it, and I don't think we ever want to get rid of it. PvP is a big aspect of the game. A player's response to another player is a big aspect of what DayZ is. But we do need to try cutting it down a little bit. But a lot of the, I'm not going to say kids, a lot of the younger generation are not interested in playing a safe game or a safety game. They're just interested in finding what they can, run around, kill another player, and that's it. They're interested in stats.
Hate that.
I don't think we're ever going to get away from that. We're always going to have KOS. We're always going to have PvP. PvP on its own we need. KOS we do need to some degree. Trying to cut it down is always going to be hard. I believe we have cut it down a little with the infection changes we made in 0.7. I know a lot of people that we've spoken to on busy servers have seen a lot more trading. They've seen a lot more players grouping together. They've seen a lot lower KOS. Even on some of the stat systems that we monitor, we've seen a lot less people just plain simply killing. Now, whether that's because they've cut down on PvP a little bit more because they're afraid a little bit more or what, I don't know. It's hard to get a judgment on that.
Yeah. Someone else asked, is it possible to save sandbags, barbed wire and tank traps after server restart after 24 hours?
What do you mean?
Because I don't know how tank traps, barbed wire, well, how does tank traps, barbed wire and sandbags work right now? They disappear on a couple of restarts, or?
Yeah, let me pull it up. It's different for private and it's different for official. Let me pull it up. Private servers, so people using our files for private servers.
Yeah.
Our files for private servers removed unused vehicles older than 14 days. So that means stashes, traps, sandbags, wires, hedgehogs. So after 14 days of them not being updated, which is pretty hard to get these days. Camo nets removed after the characters died one day. Remove tent stashes whose owner has been dead for 4 days. So if an owner's been dead, his stash, any of his small stash, medium or tent gets removed after 4 days.
Right.
Empty tents get removed after 7. Empty tents, stash or stash mediums we've done after 7. Barbed wire gets removed after 2 days. Tank traps get removed after 15 days. Sandbags after 20
Good
days. And bear traps
You
after
glitched in the way,
5,
mate.
5 days.
You
Killed us
lagged
on
in.
the old
What the
bandit.
hell? You weren't even there, and then all of a sudden you were when I was firing.
I can't bandage
I
him, can
told.
you?
Yeah, you were blocking the way for me for a while. I think you were desyncing
Oh,
where I
whoops.
was. Yeah, that's fine.
My
Alright.
bad.
I tried to write move really quickly, but it didn't really work out. I wrote oven.
Also, listen,
I'm
I think
infected now.
I accidentally shot
Oh, cool.
somebody or
Alright,
nearly
alright.
hit somebody because I thought you were a zombie. And when I realized you weren't a zombie, you stopped moving, and then you moved into my line of fire when I was shooting.
Oops, I still need a bandage, and now I'm
That was
infected as well.
People
I thought
in
you
chat
died.
talking about broken
No.
bones, and I was thinking about it. Is there any way you guys can possibly in a future update, like, make it a little bit harder to break a bone? Like, not really hard, but I mean, like, you drop like 2 feet and you break your leg. I mean, that's not really that realistic, I guess.
No, well, we can, but then why are you jumping from 2 feet? You don't. There isn't a jump in the game.
I'll put it in your bag, unless he's got some.
Oh, I jump out of my helicopter.
Well,
and not
I
break my
mean,
legs.
like, if you're, like, in the farm buildings, if you're going down the stairs, you might fall, like, from the 4th step up or something. If you're going a little too fast, you might fall from up there, but, like, on the stairwell, you kind of fall off and you'll, like, break your leg and you'll just be screwed.
I suppose we could, yes, we could change it, but then, yeah, if you're taking your time, you wouldn't be running up a set of stairs anyway. And even if you run up your set of stairs at home, if you fall over, you're gonna hurt yourself. Whether you're on the 4th step, 6th step, or top of the stairs. So,
Well, I mean, like, falling from there, you could, like, lose blood or something, but not, like, break your whole leg. I mean, I don't think you're gonna break your leg from falling from, like, a couple feet.
Depends.
yeah,
It's
it,
possible. So you think like more like random, or what are you looking for?
it is a hard one. We can change it by all means. There's nothing stopping us changing it, especially if it is from a low drop like that. But then, do we want to be able to allow players to run around carelessly without even thinking about what they're doing, or do we want the players to be thinking about what they're doing rather than running around carelessly? It does make you pay a bit more attention to what you're doing, and if you don't pay attention to what you're doing, you do have a possibility of breaking your bones. So
Yeah, that is very true. When I run in buildings like the building they're in right now, I mostly crouch just so I don't, because like bouncing off the walls and stuff annoys me, so I just crouch run through buildings like that they're in.
yeah, so again, I suppose it depends on the aspects of what you want. We're not trying to make a Call of Duty run to gun, run anywhere sort of game. It is trying to be more take your time, more stealthy approach. You know, play it slower than Call of Duty. Now, some players will always play it fast and try to run around everywhere. And I suppose if you fall off a step and break your leg because you're running around, it's kind of your own fault, isn't it?
And this one guy in chat keeps mentioning it. He really wants satchel charges to be able to set on cars, and when you start up an engine, it blows up.
Now that should be a nice one actually, but again I think that would fall into the line of traps rather than
Personally, I
physical
think that would be
objects.
really annoying because I
Yeah.
don't know of a way to tell if there's a bomb on it, because then you'd spend like a whole day getting parts, fix it up, and then you'd start it up and you just die.
Yeah, with that we definitely have to have something on the system to identify whether it has been tampered with. But there is no reason we couldn't have it. It just means we'd have to pay a bit of attention to how we do it.
But then, like, what would be the point of, like, adding it if you can find out if it has, like, a bomb in it? Because that kind of defeats the purpose of, like, a hidden bomb. Like, you shouldn't know if it's gonna blow up or not. Otherwise, you could just defuse it, I guess, or something.
Yes and no, but then they do have players, like we've already discussed many times, that do run around without paying a care or attention of anything ever. They just run.
I mean, you don't.
Dismiss everything. So
I mean, you don't have to have like text on it or anything to say that
no,
it's
no.
been tampered, but have like a tiny little feature of the car that if you look at it careful enough, you can see.
Yeah, you see the piece of C4 strapped to the side of the car, or next to the bonnet bumper or something silly like that. Yeah,
Or
definitely.
you'll see like a little tiny wire or something going to the bottom of the car or something like that.
Yeah. So it is definitely possible. There's no doubt about that. We can look at things like that, but we would need to add some kind of visual effect to show any careful player that he's being careful and trying to play the game stealthy, quietly. That there is something there that could cause a problem.
So speaking of booby trapping cars, how about being able to sabotage cars, like taking out your hunting knife and puncturing a tire or stripping some wires in the engine to make
Cutting
it
the
not
fuel
runnable?
line.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that has been brought up once or twice. It is, again, definitely it is possible, but then we would have some limitations to what we could do.
DayZ,
We wouldn't be able to
tolling
do like
simulator.
fuel lines. We
Oh,
wouldn't be
so
able to do
can
fuel lines, but we might be able to pop wheels.
so could we expect something like this in the future?
I don't know if I should say anything. At the moment, no, I'm going to say no. But we do have some other systems to come in that would. How would you say that now?
Allow similar action.
Yeah,
First
I'm
world
trying
problems.
I'm trying to tell you
Find the right
to
words.
answer honestly, but I don't know how to answer honestly without having it in front of me, without having it ready, because it can change. So.
Yeah.
Yes, we
Very
do have a
fast.
plan, but for the moment, no, it won't be implemented. But the system we have planned will be a lot more detailed than what we just discussed.
Awesome.
I think would be the easiest way to do it. But it leads into a lot more than just vehicles. It leads into a lot of medical systems as well.
Someone in chat is asking about plans for attachments and crafting.
Attachments, we've already discussed this a minute. I think all that's coming with the journal. As the journal comes in, we'll see this come up more and more, but the journal needs to be done first because of all the extras we need.
Yeah, with attachments, he said that they're limited by the engine and what armor can actually do.
Yeah, but they're limited to the models we currently have. So unless we get new models from somewhere, i.e. asking another developer that's got weapon models available, we are limited to some of the weapons that have.
And this other guy has a very serious question. I think we should add. Why are there no nukes? I think that we should add nukes so that you can blow up an entire town. I mean, like,
25 kill streak.
Get 25 kill streak.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you should be rewarded with at least
And
one
then
nuke.
the server should be
Get-
offline forever.
Yeah,
Get
can
some
we add
Get
can
some
we add
rogue-
pot of golds to the end of rainbows and stuff like that as well, please?
Flying unicorns.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Right, I think.
Wait, when is the stream gonna end?
Whatever.
Never.
Razor, you're here forever now, mate.
I'm thinking.
Welcome to the team
I'm
to
thinking.
speak. Get cozy.
Uh,
There's two goats on this airfield.
I guess
anyway.
Maldor's gonna take off, but I mean, I'll be streaming for a while.
I'm gonna be leaving in like 5 minutes, so I'm gonna send you guys all Bushwicky's stream link, so you can go there, and it's pretty much the
Yeah,
same thing.
continue
but
to
it's
ask
as weird.
questions and everything.
Wait, what are you doing? Oh, to Razor stream.
No, to Razor.
Yeah, I don't do mine. Mine's supposed to
okay.
be.
I've disabled mine, and Razor doesn't
Yeah,
have voice on his.
I sent it to Bushwicky. I sent Bushwicky stream.
Yeah,
Oh,
so-
does he have a good stream?
Yeah. Yeah, that's decent. Okay.
Holy graphical glitches, my god.
So yeah, I'm
Well,
gonna
unless
end
you're
my
too
stream
tired,
then.
Razor, are you still good to keep going, or?
Well, I think at the moment, I think if we stop the questions, just keep streaming for the moment. Because yeah, I need to go and take a break because it is like 1 o'clock here.
Yeah.
Yeah. We could always like do
I'm
this
gonna-
again
Half
tomorrow,
one.
or whenever you're next available, Razor.
Well, yeah, we just carry on streaming for a little bit. So I want to test a little bit more gameplay for this anyway. So. But,
Right, I'll be stopping my stream then, and.
Hey, Maldor, where's the chopper?
See you guys later. It's in front of the ATC. Okay,
Alright.
bye. Everybody.
Gonna
One more
run to it,
question
give me a sec.
before I actually go.
Too late now. I already ended it.
Is there a way to fix the graphical
First.
glitches with like military stuff? Because I know sometimes with like tank traps, they'll like bring this like
That's-
big black
Yeah, I think
screen
that's
over
been
the
fixed.
entire like
black.
thing, and you cannot see anything. Is there any way to fix that?
We get this every now and again with different updates from graphics cards and
Yeah.
stuff. Officially, no, we can't fix it because we don't have access to those models. The only people that have access to those models is Dean and BIS. Unfortunately, we don't. They're all by rights, so we can't access them.
I have a question. Are you a developer for the standalone too?
No, I don't really do much for
Oh,
standalone.
look
at
out,
all.
you're getting eaten.
What?
You're getting eaten.
I'm getting eaten.
Oh, that's
No.
cool. Yeah,
Would
oh,
you
that's
want to be a developer of the standalone?
To be honest, I haven't got the time to do more development. I already work 2
Priorities.
jobs. I have 3 children. I have a wife, and I do the mod stuff. I don't really have much time for anything else.
And then I occasionally drag in one armor too.
Yeah.
And then we delay the new updates along that way.
Yeah.
Dragon Arma 2.
This guy's got a question. We kind of already talked about it, but I don't know if
Dual
we directly
barrel.
asked it.
barrel,
Any
huh?
chance for the
Yes.
dev team will be asking Arma community for permission to use some of their mods in the future? As in, I'm assuming he means like leeching firearms off of a mod, putting it in DayZ,
Or different
but with
maps.
permission, yeah, basically.
So at the moment, yes. We will be looking at asking the community for other stuff later on. At the moment, this is a very sore point. A lot of the mods of DayZ are not asking permission from anyone. They're just taking whatever they feel like and they're adding it into their mods. This is causing a backfire of massive issues from all different
Yeah,
community
didn't somebody
members.
just get
on
DDoSed?
too.
I do it backwards.
Yeah, there's lots of issues here, but we have always asked for anything we use at the moment, and we try to really create a lot of our own stuff. A lot of the code that we use now is our own stuff. We have a few dupe issues from 1 or 2 of the other mods that have all asked for licensing information from us. If you go to our GitHub, you'll see there's quite a few mods that have actually done the decent thing and asked for permission to use any of our new code in their mods, and as part of that we ask that we can take things from their mods if we see fit. Obviously we ask. So that we are building a community to try to do this in the future, so we can ask other mods that are doing DayZ stuff that we can borrow, take things from them and all that sort of stuff. So we are trying. It's going to take a while to get set up because a lot of mods just don't care at all. And I can name one of the biggest mods going here, and you probably all know it. Actually, I'm not going to name it. You all know the mod that I'm talking about. There's been no information regarding them asking for permission, even from the last 0.6 version that they stole. At all. So yes, we're trying, but it's going to take a bit of time to get right.
Good. You got a compliment on that, kind of. Somebody saying, really glad to hear that. We got another question. Somebody saying they're wondering if like the smaller buildings next to. Okay, hold on. Let me just read the question as is. I'd like to know if it is being planned to make the buildings around the original buildings enterable like some smaller mods do.
I think this comes back to more the map update. We do want to look at the updating the map at some point, but considering the amount of other issues that we've got, the other amount of work that we've got at this time, I don't think it's realistic for us to say yes, we're going to start changing the buildings out, putting new buildings in place, and all of that sort of stuff. That takes a lot of time It takes a lot of time to sit down, go through the map, write down houses, what you can replace them with, get them relocated, get them added. It does take a lot of time, unless someone comes to us and says, listen, we've done this already, we have this done, would you consider using it? It's all our own work, you know, and we have someone that works 24/7 on, works specifically for the mission file, adding new stuff, then yeah, then we could do it, but as it stands now, we don't have that.
Razor, seeing as you said yourself that you want to start stuffing questions now.
Yeah.
Am I okay to add like one thing? It's more of a request than a question, and then you can wrap
Yeah,
up.
go on.
So, as we talked about earlier, we said that if you could have people who would make models for, obviously, that wasn't asking for anything in return, they could give models to BI and the DayZ developers, you would be able to use them in-game. Is it possible for you and the dev team to make a post somewhere, maybe, or on Reddit, saying what models are needed and how they can submit them to the DayZ mod team so that they can be used if they're good?
This comes back to an issue that we brought up a minute ago about mods taking stuff from us. The reason we don't share a lot of the stuff at the moment and what we want to do is because, well, some mods just don't care. They take what they want and then disappear into the thinner dust, and we never see them again until they want something else. Now this happens quite a lot, and you guys all know this anyway. Anybody that plays DayZ can look around and you can see this happens a lot. There's a lot of community stuff that's being taken left, right and centre, and there's just no permission being asked at all. So I think this comes back to this. We don't want to give too much information of what we want to do later down the line, because we know other mods will take it and use it before us, and it'll be completely out of what we wanted to originally do. And then we end up in a ugly battle of we wanted this and they changed this, and
Yeah, but I know that you could. I know there are like legal documents about like stuff like that. Like you could get someone like, for example, for the models, you could say like, if you want to suggest this model to the dev team, you have to first sign this paper or something, or this document that says that you are willing to let them have all access to the model or whatever like that, so that people can't come back and sue you or whatever for not giving them what they wanted or something like that.
Yeah, for physical models that are given to us, that's easy. We can do that easily. But then if we were asking for people to do models, or we put a list out for models, we have to give information of what those models are, how we want them, and all the rest. So we're actually be publicising exactly what we want to do with the mod fully, and then asking for players to give models back. So you can imagine what's going to happen. The ones that like the ideas will take the ideas that we put down based on the model info, and they'll just take it and run with it how they want. And well, as you've seen, not all of them follow that path of what DayZ should be. A lot of them turn it into what they feel DayZ should be, and that's why we have so many different mods now.
Yeah, I know it would be quite a risk to do that, letting people take it, but just from being on Reddit for a long time and seeing how much people can offer, I'm pretty sure there'd be you would have a lot of people wanting to put models and bringing you really good stuff and everything.
Yeah, the models are absolutely great. We have no issue using. If someone comes to us and wants to join in, we've got no issue with that. Anybody will tell you that. We never do, but they have to be part of developing with us. We can bring them into the channels with us on Skype. We can add them onto GitHub, but we do have a system on GitHub where we if someone's been in there for a while and they haven't actually done anything, we remove them from GitHub. It allows us to create a list on GitHub that's actually working on GitHub, so we know everyone there is actually doing something for the mod all the time. It keeps the list nice and short, and we know we can segment out certain areas to different people because we know they're working on the mod. So we have that system. We never remove them from the actual community channels on Skype, but we do remove them from GitHub if they've been inactive for a while. It just allows us to keep the list down. But if they want to come back, we invite them straight back. We never refuse access to anyone, ever.
I have a question. Actually, like 2 questions. When do you think DayZ will be out of the alpha state and an actual release? Well, like not a release, but like actually stable.
The mods, never. I don't think the mod will ever come out of alpha. There's too many issues that we know about. There's too many restrictions on what we can do. There's too many different bits. I think the best thing for the mod would be to stay as an alpha and continue as an alpha, and allow DayZ standalone to pick up the alpha state and then transform it into the beta and into a full game sort of thing. I don't think the mod will ever come out of alpha. I don't think it's actually worth us bringing it out of an alpha because we're never going. There's things that we're never going to get right.
Alright, and the second question is, even when the standalone comes out, DayZ will still be worked on, right?
We don't have any plans to drop it straight away. No. We'd like to get the new systems in place, the ones that we already have concepts out for. We'd like to get all those done and into the mod for the long term. We're not really going to be going anywhere. Most of us will be playing standalone. We'll come backwards and forwards. We won't be just giving it up now.
So like you guys will just still be like continuing to fix bugs even though there'll always be them, right? Try to keep them try to keep them to a minimal yeah, just keeping the bugs to like minimal.
Yeah, pretty much. Like I said earlier, we have to fight the beta all the time. The betas that come out, not in a bad way, but when a beta comes out, it changes some things. We have to fight those things and change them, change what we want back. This is why we're going to try and change the configs later on. But that's a big job for us to do. It should allow us some freedom from the betas, but the betas still control the main source of the game. So if they introduce something that we just can simply not fix, then we have to stay and roll back. But there's some betas that will get released that we have to update to, so we have to fix the issues that come up with that beta, i.e. for battle life filters. So if an update comes out that has some new battle life functions in it, we have to update to that to get those battle life functions, which means we have to fix some bugs that will be brought up because of that beta. And it's one of the reasons we don't ask you to update to the newest beta now. I don't know if you noticed, but the 0.7 we limited the beta to 3.4.19 and 3.9.1.8, I think it was, something like that. Anything
Wait,
above
what
that
do you-
caused too many issues.
By beta, what do you mean? Like the beta patches that are released?
Yeah, the Armor 2 beta patches.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the most recent one causes massive FPS drops on like different mods and such.
Yeah.
It's pretty disappointing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know we can fix something one day, a beta can come out, we update to that beta and we can actually break it again fairly fast because of the beta. Now we're not saying that happens all the time, but there is a chance that it can happen. For instance, the M107 in 0.6, it got updated in one of the betas and it had the auto lock on, which caused so many issues and so many new posts regarding that lock on box that actually did nothing. It was just we have to fight that all the time, unfortunately, and we will continue to fight that all the time.
Will there be any like changes to like vehicles, like I guess their spawns and stuff?
Are we talking official now, or are we talking private?
Well, like for like the mod, like DayZ.
Main Hive, I think he's.
Yeah,
Yeah,
talking
main
official.
hive, main hive.
Yeah. The main hive's tricky. Because it's so big, we can't use the standard systems that we use on the privates. We have to have a system put in place that's able to do a mass amount of instance IDs. If you think of the instance IDs that you see on the forums, that's how many vehicles, times that by the amount of vehicles for each one. So 47 vehicles per instance, and we have to control all the way up to that number. So if we start at instance 1 and then up to the latest one that you can see, that's how many vehicles. We have 47 vehicles for each one of them. So it's a massive database that we have to constantly go through. Changing vehicles is an absolute nightmare and killer. It takes a lot of work to be able to go in, change them, update them, add them, remove them, finish it. It causes a lot of issues and a lot of time. It's all about time. Any time that we're spending fixing them is also time we're spending not doing other things.
Will there be like any changes to like gaining blood, like adding more ways?
What do you mean gaining?
Like, I mean, like right now at the moment, trying to gain blood is actually pretty limited. Like, you could do blood bags, but that's if you have a friend that you could actually trust. And then there's like, you know, going and hunting like animals and stuff and eating their meat and stuff, will there be any more ways to get blood?
Well, there's your tin cans, your food tins that you find in shops also give you blood.
I mean, like, is there gonna be any more ways added? Because at the moment, those are like the only ways.
Yeah,
What
it's
other
either,
ways
it's
could there
either
be?
like, yeah, it's either like eat some canned food that gives you like a little tiny bit, or eat some steak that gives you quite a bit, and then either blood bag.
Yeah, it'd be. I suppose there's no reason we couldn't. It'll just have to be how we do it and what we do it, how we're going to do it and implement it. How would you give blood in a game? Outside of the 3 ways we do currently, what other ways could there be?
I'm not sure. I was just wondering if there's gonna be like if there's thought on anything else being added. Well, like
I
any.
know. I know there's a couple of ways that we have discussed new systems, but none that have been in concrete yet. Yeah, none that have been are in concrete yet. That it is a hard one for us to get right. Even just changing the blood bag system from being an instant blood to the blood regen system we've got now, that took a while for us to get right. So it is a hard one. But definitely, there's no reason we couldn't. If someone comes up with a good enough suggestion, then yeah, definitely. And we're always looking for suggestions.
Okay, just awkward silence.
I think we've asked every question that can be asked, besides the silly things.
Well, I have one more if you don't mind.
Yeah,
Just trying to sneak off slowly.
Yeah, sorry, man. I mean, you said you didn't wanna get any more questions like an hour ago. If you don't mind, just like curious, what's the reasoning behind why you can't give yourself a blood bag?
Yeah, I was waiting for this one.
There we go.
There. We go.
Blood bags as we know them won't exist. We're trying to remove them. And the blood bag system that we've got, where you walk into the hospital and find blood on the floor. Now, as much as everybody shouts about a can got added in 0.6 and it broke immersion, no one seems to be worried about having blood bags sat on a floor in a hospital. So yeah, we are looking at changing that. The blood bags won't actually be sat in a hospital. What will actually happen is you'll find the items to create a blood bag. So syringe, pipe, little bag, and you'll siphon blood out yourself to create a blood bag. Now, if you siphon out yourself, you lose that amount of blood from your inventory. So there'll be a few different types, amount ones. So there'll be like 6K and 4K. So there'll be different amounts. And you siphon it out yourself to create a blood bag, and that blood can then be transferred to another player. Obviously, this then brings into the fact that different blood types, blah, 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 blah. So we have to work in that system as well. So we have discussed different blood types, bringing in a system for different blood types.
And that would be kind of stupid, I think.
Yeah, so then this brings in new issues and new concerns and new this and new that. So
Though, could you do something where like you were talking about filling up the blood bag with your own blood? Could you do like something like that and then store that blood bag, and then when you lose blood and you need blood back, then you can blood yourself with your own blood?
You'd lose your own blood by removing it. You'd still need to regenerate. I mean, your blood doesn't regenerate. To regenerate one donation would take. What does it say here?
Well, I mean, like fill
4
up
to 6
the blood.
weeks. It would take 4 to 6 weeks gameplay to regenerate the blood you've lost in the blood donation. So.
Well, I mean, like put the blood in the blood bag, and then say you have some steaks from killing an animal, just eat a bunch of steaks and regain all that blood back. But then later on, when you lose blood again, you can blood yourself with your own blood.
Yeah, the system that we've looked at, or we're looking at the moment, is say for instance we've got all the tools, we've got a blood bag that holds 2K of blood. You siphon the blood from yourself. Say you've got 5 of them. You siphon 5 blood bags from yourself. So that's like 10K. So you're left with 2K. You get yourself back up with full blood. that blood then has to be stored somewhere. So what we're looking at is actually a out in the sea, like storage system. You go out into the sea somewhere. You put a bag into the sea, and you can put your blood bags into it like a cache in the water to keep it cool. Now, obviously, there's other concerns that bring up with that as well, obviously, but this is the system we've been looking at. But those blood bags can then be used to give you blood back in a heavy situation that you need them. Now, this, like I say, when we do the concept, we do the concept from start to finish, the whole lot, including things like cooling. But in reality, we don't really need the cooling. We might actually have to bypass the cooling altogether to make it game worthy. So you can siphon blood out yourself and then give it to yourself back later on in a condition where you can't find food, you can't gain blood in any other way, and you've got to give it back to yourself. I presume that's basically what you're talking about, or asking.
And then I just thought of this question because I'm watching Bushwookie and he's on an island. I was thinking about this. I know that it's part of the animation from Arma, but is there any way you can make swimming a little bit better? Because swimming is really annoying.
Yeah,
Also,
to be honest,
before you start that question, does anyone mind if I annex the helicopter so I can actually get off this island?
You long as you meet back. Or swim.
Alright, I guess I'm swimming.
Because swimming is very, very slow, and it takes like forever to get like a tiny little distance.
I have to agree.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I suppose I think at the moment, is it worth it? Do we have anything in the water that's worth you swimming to? I suppose is a big question.
Well, I mean, like there's other islands off Trinidad in the water that like I may want to get to, but it's not worth it to me to. Like sometimes there's like heli spawns over there, but I don't want to spend like 20 minutes swimming there just to check for a heli spawn, find out it's not there, and have to spend another 20 minutes swimming back like only like 100 meters or however much it is off the shore.
Well, that's why we have boats, so that you take the boat over and move the boat back. I suppose, in a way, yes, we could have a look at it, but then is it really worth us looking at it? To be honest, there's nothing really out in the water outside of that one island, and even then, that one island is only because of the chopper spawn. If you remove the chopper spawn off it, it's pretty useless anyway.
Well, I mean, it still is a good place to like have a camp and stuff. A lot of people go on to islands that are off the coast and do camps because they know people won't be willing to swim there if they don't have a boat. And personally, I think boat spawns are a little kind of rare. Like, I've never really found a boat spawn legitly. I've only got them off of other players. I've never been able to personally find a boat spawn.
I found 3 at one place. Or it was 2 or 1, whatever, it was ridiculous. I crashed them both promptly.
It was like I would go to all the boat spawns and I could not find a single boat.
So, sorry if I just get back to this, but why can you not give yourself a blood transfusion? That's what I'm wondering.
Well, at the moment, we don't have the function in the game. We've got no real reason to have the function in the game. It's just a way for you to gain blood like yourself. As much as we do want everyone to be able to make their own way, we still want some group play, some group coordination, some... Do you trust the survivor? Do you trust another player?
I guess
that's what I was wondering. That you just did it to avoid KOS and actually make people band together, or was it just like...
Yeah, it is more to get you to... No, to group to... Yes and no. We do want you to, but we don't want you to as well. We want you to be able to do what you want to do. But as we were saying earlier, the reason we don't have a grouping system, i.e. You can join groups, physical groups in the game, is because it's that handshake agreement. Do you trust another person enough to take you back to your base? Do you trust that person enough to give you a blood bag and not just steal your stuff?
I guess that's what DayZ is all about. But
exactly.
Could you like make it like, just a suggestion out of the top of my head, could you make it like if you do it yourself, you get like a ridiculous high chance of infection? And if you have someone else do it who has like more control about it, and then just make that a lot safer.
Can I
again? We have looked at that as well. So that we are looking at it. We are looking to improve it in different ways. There is ways that we are looking to improve these systems, but it takes time for us to get right. At the
Of course.
moment, the main concentration we have is trying to get the sillier bugs out of the way first. Those sillier bugs are the ones that are causing everyone headaches, like the breaking your legs in the middle of a field because you've run into a tree. You know, obviously that killed. To be honest, I never had that myself, but I know a few people that have had it and they've had to crawl all the way back and
Yep.
all that sort of
Yeah.
stuff. So,
Been there, done that. But what I was gonna say
Yeah.
about self-adding of the blood bags, if you think about it logically, if you're gonna really need a blood bag, if you're in that situation, wouldn't you be kind of incapable of giving yourself a blood bag? You'd be pretty damn disoriented if you really need that blood bag in real life. I mean, I don't know much about that all, but you would think if it's an emergency situation, you might not be able to give yourself a blood bag.
Well, I mean, it is a game. It doesn't have to be 100% realistic.
I know, I mean, just stick a needle in yourself, how hard can it be?
yeah, but then, well, you're TWM, so you know a little bit more than the others. So if you go and look at your forum posts at some of the other stuff that we've got, then you'll know why we can't do that.
Okay. Just
So yeah,
your interest.
yes, look, yes and no. We can look at it. There's no doubt that we definitely can look at it. It is something that is reasonable, and it does have that level of threat all the way through, and we can make it to have a higher chance of causing an issue, infectious sickness, whatever. So yes, we could do, but at the moment, I think a lot of the other issues are taking priority over it, and we still need to do a mixture of new versus old and updated. We still have to have that mix.
Yeah, of course. I was just like, I don't prefer either way, and I think changing it to make yourself able to give yourself a blood bag would be not very good for our little group here, but I was just wondering if it was like a choice you actively made to make people play together or something like that.
But no, not directly, no, but yes and no, I suppose. It's yes and no.
That's good. I'll take that answer.
Yeah. But yeah, it definitely is a good one. We do definitely need to come back to it at some point, and make a proper decision on it. But,
you were talking about like breaking your legs running into a tree and stuff. Just reminded me about. You were talking about like the boxes around some things like helis and zombies can't go into it. There's a big problem with trees and driving cars next to them. Because
yeah.
I've had plenty of experiences where I've been like a couple feet away from a tree, not even being close to touching it, and then it'll just like get stuck to the tree, it'll pop a tire or whatever, and then I'm just like screwed.
Yeah,
Or
welcome
a tree.
welcome to Arma 2's collision system. It's not great. There is quite a few issues with it. What was the other one? I can't remember what the other one. There's a few different issues with the collision. You can actually like the ATVs on a bridge. That's the cracky. That's the best one.
Oh,
yeah.
the best one is some cars if you're just driving them, sometimes they'll like go down like a little tiny hill and they'll just flip over.
Yeah.
Like recently on the server I play on, we were driving across a train track in an SUV, and then it just like flipped the SUV over, and we had to wait till server restart for it to get back over.
Oh, but my favorite is like me and a friend driving an ATV through a field and doing a double backflip over a bunny rabbit.
My favorite is the bridge with an ATV, because I
Yeah.
just love launching my ATVs into orbit.
Gives you a nice view though, very short.
Yeah. It is
DayZ,
very nice view
it's
for
like
10
it's like
seconds.
it's like Kerbal Space Program.
Exactly.
DayZ Space Simulator.
Well, now that the breaking the leg issue has been mentioned, well, the tree sims are apparently a problem, but what about the stairs and the doors?
I believe doors we've fixed already. You can actually open a door on yourself now. There is an issue where it can occasionally knock you through the wall in the house, but that we haven't seen it enough to be able to get a definite on it.
Yes, I
But
noticed
we-
the doors being not as bad as they used to be, and
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
really a big big good thing.
Well,
That
thank you
used
for
to annoy
mentioning
me so
that.
badly.
I never noticed that it was fixed yet, so I've been like avoiding doors.
I avoid the
for a while.
doors.
Yeah,
Me
I
too.
avoid doors at all costs, but now since it's fixed, I'll be a little bit more lenient with
And
doors.
Yeah,
just like,
definitely give it a try. We believe we have fixed it to a massive degree. Things like running into a tree, you no longer break your legs. Opening a door in a house, you shouldn't just break your legs. We have tried to fix a lot of those nasty, stupid, pain in the ass bugs with 0.7, and I think we did fix a lot of them. Obviously, we've probably caused a few more as well to come up, like knocking yourself into a wall and stuff when you open a door. But we'll get through them as they come up.
I did notice it, like especially today, I had to open a couple of doors and gates in a hurry, and they didn't kill me at all. So I was quite surprised with that, and I don't think you get the credit you deserve for that. Because people just like avoid it as much as they can because they know it's gonna fuck your day up.
Yeah,
Now
I'm
it's
very
actually
glad
fixed.
that I'm very glad that you fixed that. I've had plenty of times where I've gone into barracks and broke my legs from opening the
Yep.
door.
Yeah, with Farco, one of our security guys at the moment is doing filters. He went through and did a load of fixes on this stuff and fixing like the exploits above the hospital. He did a really good job of fixing a lot of these bugs, a lot of the smaller issues. He went through it with a fine tooth comb, picking up a lot of these smaller issues and fixing them. He did a really good job with it.
That's absolutely true. But
One
the other thing with the stairs where you like, for instance, get down from the fire station, and all of a sudden you're like on a rail and you can actually move. You just go down.
Yes.
I'm just
one
wondering,
question.
is that just armor or?
I believe so, yeah. I believe it's a combination of issues, that one.
I have a question about like zombies going through walls. Will that ever be fixed?
No. Until we can get access to the model, no. We believe the models don't have a collision system in them, which means they can walk through some of the objects. Like if you try walking through the counters in the shop, you can't go through them because your model has a collision system built in. But the zombies don't actually have that. They don't seem to have that, and I haven't really looked at it properly to know for definite. But we believe the models for the zombies don't actually have a collision on them, so they can actually travel through some objects.
So it will never be fixed.
We believe that, no. If you look at how lumpy your character is going through doors, imagine how lumpy the zombies would be going through doors if you had a collision to them. So sometimes that collision isn't needed because the way they go through doors. So we believe that's why.
That's really bad. That's a real bummer because I could work with like the whole like like zombies just like poor pathfinding and stuff like, but then when it comes to them walking in walls when I'm like bleeding and going in like a supermarket for example, it really it's a real pain.
Yeah, like
Yeah, this is where.
sometimes when you're like in the barracks and you'll be in there and they'll just like go through the walls and start hitting you. It's really annoying.
It's one of the reasons. It is also one of the reasons we've lowered the line of sight system as well a little. You actually, if you aggro a zombie in like the shop and you go to the far counter at the back, hide behind that counter, the zombie will actually, by the time he gets to you, he would have lost interest altogether. He would have lost complete line of sight, turned around, carried on with his normal duties. And that's one of the reasons we've lowered that system. So you can lose Zeds a little bit easier.
But does this here say?
Yeah, go on.
Does this apply to like doors? Because even though you close a door, zombies could still come through it, and you'll just get like trapped in it.
Yeah, exactly the same situation. Exactly the same. We try to get them opening doors. Oh, obviously, Armour 2 gets them opening doors to a massive degree. We try to do as much as we can to stop them at doing it, like hitting through walls. We try to stop that as much as we possibly can. But there is occasions where they still will hit you through a wall. That's because they're half glitched into the wall and they don't actually can see the wall there because they're inside it. So we do try a lot to sort these little things out, but they are hard.
Another little annoying thing with zombies is when they spawn, sometimes they'll spawn and they'll act like they have a weapon on them, like their hands will be out, and then they'll like put it back like it's not there. That sometimes confuses a lot of people to thinking that it's a player. So then you get all like worried that it's a player, and then they'll start running at you. Or sometimes if you see them like aggro at you from a distance, it kind of looks. I know you tried to do the running like a human, but sometimes that running like a human thing gets kind of confusing at a distance because then it looks like a player and then you get all worried.
Yeah, there is issues with these eggs. There's no doubt about it. Those issues will always be the same. I don't think we're ever going to be able to fix them in the mod. Dean will have a lot more chance in standalone with having the source engine, having access to the source code. So for us in the mod, no, we're not going to be able to fix that all of that sort of stuff. We have to live with a lot of that stuff. We do a lot of checks to try making sure it doesn't happen, but unfortunately, when you add two players in the same area and they both have Zs spawning, the lag between the two Zs and the in between this systems in between can cause the checks to not happen or skip or you know fail or one of the other random issues.
And you said that you fixed the doors breaking on legs, or breaking legs. Did you ever fix rocks breaking legs?
Yeah, most of the rocks, doors, trees, I think we fixed a lot of those. When I say think, you'll be able to test and let me know.
Because
But as far as we know, yeah.
there's this one mountain that's between Electro and Cherno. It's kind of close to the lighthouse,
Oh, yeah,
and that's literally like if you go up there, you're gonna break your legs.
You're done.
If you touch
You're
a
done. Just
rock,
don't
you
go.
break your leg. Yeah, that's like Death Valley right there. If you go up there, you touch a rock, your legs are broken.
Want to commit suicide? There you go. Go there.
Yeah, it'd be a case of you having to try that one. I don't know if we physically tried that one alone, but I know the others we have.
I'll head over there and check it. I'm
It's well worth a check.
by Electro.
And back to one of the important issues: is the SUV gonna be added back?
The SUV has been added for the privates, but it hasn't been added for the public. Unfortunately, we still have to get permission from Dean for the public version. For the official Hive, there still needs to be permission from Dean to add that. So we need to get him to pass that off and pass off the locations and the spawn time, which is very important. A lot of the vehicles on the official actually have specific timers to how long when they can respawn. So a helicopter takes over 24 hours for it to be able to respawn.
Well,
it's not instant.
Why was it removed?
Hey, typically what happens is if we don't have something in the mod when we're going through and we're looking at the ban list and we're looking at the different systems, that isn't actually a DayZ vehicle, so we took it out. As we were going through the ban list, we were marking them off, all the new vehicles that we don't actually use but we know are being used in other areas like tanks, helicopters, jets. We start knocking them all off the list. SUVs got banned because they have an SUV minigun. So we took the SUVs out, we took all the others out, and then we realised, well, you guys realised that, well, you spawned them and they're not spawning. So that was why we banned them. It wasn't maliciously we banned them. It was a case of we're going through the list, trying to get everything done, and we kind of got it added in.
And are there gonna be different variations of vehicles? Cause I've seen like variations of like camo SUVs and stuff like that. Are there gonna be like different versions, like military off-road and then like a civilian off-road car or something like
It's definitely possible, but again, it comes down to textures. If we can get people to texture, yeah, no problem. And I know there's a mod currently out that does retexture some of the SUVs to different colours. I can't think what it's called off the top of my head. I'd have to look it up. So that it isn't out of the question. We could ask permission to use one of the ones that are already available, or we could get someone texture artist to make us our own. It is possible. It's just having the time to be able to chase the original owners for a mod, or having the time to create our own, or having someone free to create our own.
If I knew how to do it, I'd definitely do it.
Yeah, that's one of the things. If we've got someone to do it, then it's great being able to get it done.
Yeah, because DayZ Origins on the server I play on, it's a DayZ Origins server. There is a camo SUV, and it's pretty good. It's pretty hidden well in woods. You can't see it like as good because it's camoed, but yeah.
Yeah. But I suppose it depends where they got it from to start with, if it's their own or not. I don't actually know. I've never looked at Origins, so I can't tell you.
Also, Origins has they added where you could put like reinforced material on cars.
No,
and,
we won't be doing that.
Won't be doing that.
No.
They also have like a different type of chopper called a Praga, and it's like kind of like a beat up type of chopper, but it's kind of. I mean, it doesn't have any guns or anything. It's just kind of like a chopper to. It's a small, compact chopper that you can just fly around, move somewhere, hide it very well. Are you guys ever gonna think about maybe adding that officially or no?
I don't know if it's one of Arma 2's vehicles. I'd have to check. To be honest, if it's one of Arma 2's, we could definitely look at it. But as it stands now, I think Origins uses a lot of their own vehicles now.
When you say we could look at it, do you mean like, what do you mean by that?
The community devs.
Oh, okay.
I was wondering, are you planning to add more vehicles?
Yeah, that's.
Because it's
I'm
obviously
wondering that
hard on the Hive and such, but logic dictates that there would be like a shitload of bikes and then probably a lot more of the UAZs.
Yeah, see, again, yes and no. Chernos has more than 20 people in the towns. If you look around Chernos, there'd be a hell of a lot more people, so there'd be a hell of a lot more infected.
Yeah.
So it depends on the background history of Cherno, what's actually going on, what all the story is to how it happened, where it's gone, how it's happened, where it's going. Because I believe we're actually a couple of years into it. As we come up with survivors, we're a little bit into it. So that would mean a lot of the vehicles would probably already be taken, moved,
That
lost.
does make sense, yes.
So yeah, I know when Dean set up the official hive, a lot of the vehicle spawns had a purpose. So the official hive spawns all have a specific purpose that means something. The timers that they retime on also have a purpose. So without Dean being able to answer exactly why he did those spawns in the exact way he did those spawns, we're never going to know. I suppose Standalone will tell us exactly why.
Yeah, okay.
Would there be any thought to like maybe including a few more melee weapons to give somebody who's just spawning some other options?
What as a
Makarov?
Yeah, like
is a start weapon.
Yeah, like the hunting knife. I
Maybe.
mean,
Yeah, something. I mean, it's Europe, right? So you can't give them a baseball bat or a cricket bat, but
But then again, how many people walk around with a cricket bat or a hunting knife?
But
I'd be scared as fuck.
I know, but think about it. If it's a couple years into it, and you got people who are walking around with Molly type vests and stuff. I mean, logic would dictate at some point they found something they could hold in their hands to at least beat off a zombie.
Well then, I understand what you're saying, and I do agree, but then again we go into a lot of the backstory of DayZ. We need a lot more about the information of backstory. Where was they at the time when it happened? How were they? How did they manage to get onto the beach? How did they survive in the first place? What were they doing at the time, and all the rest of it? So
The way I
there
read
is,
oh, sorry.
yeah, there is a massive whole story to it, but melee weapons can be added. It's not really that bad. There is quite a few melee weapons in the game now. There's axe, baseball bat, machete. You've got the three types of baseball bat. The ones with nails in it, the ones with barbed wire on the top. You've got the new shovel, which I don't think we've added yet, but there's a new shovel as well.
Oh, okay. All right, that's sounding better.
Don't you think it could be like possibly interesting to have like a very short intro story, so to say? Like,
that means
that explains how you get on the beach and stuff.
Yeah, see, that means that we're fulfilling Standalone's role.
Oh, okay.
Standalone's role will be telling you all of that.
Okay, sorry for asking.
Yeah, the way I've been rationalizing it was just basically saying, "Oh, my boat crashed and now I'm here." That's basically how I.
well, I mean, if they wanted to do the backstory type thing, but at least make it like something on the main menu or something like backstory that it doesn't get too annoying. Where like fresh spawn, you get like a whole animated movie that I don't want to see that I've seen millions of times.
Just like
Yeah, I
a
don't.
short line of text maybe when we first played, something like that. And this is the way I was thinking about.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't think we're going to be adding anything that leads you into a story from DayZ. That's going to be all standalone. The standalone will do all of that.
Or just like a little more background in the book you have with you, the diary.
The journal.
Yes, the journal. Like it says you started out at a specific location, but
User left your
would it be
channel.
possible to just like have a line saying my boat crashed there instead of like I woke up at?
Well,
Yeah,
then,
kind of have like journal entries or something like that.
well, yeah, we could look at it, but then again, it adds a story to it rather than just being where you woke up. You woke up there. There's no information how you got there. There's no nothing.
I think it'd be kind of cool to add your own journal entries, but I mean that could lead to massive trolling. But still, I think if you could find somebody else's journal on a person's body.
But
Yeah,
then
yeah,
again, we are looking at the journal stuff, but again, that's going to be a lot of work to get the journal from the player with all the crafting, the information, the achievements, to a ground object to being picked up to someone else being able to view it. There's a lot of work in that to be done.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier being able to like write down your chords for your base or something if you want to remember them in your journal, and then if people kill you and take it, then they can find your base.
Yeah. Again, once we look at the base building or the building system when we come to it, all of that will be discussed when that comes up. But I'm trying to think what I can say and not say. We got to watch what we're doing. The journal's going to be a massive part. It's going to mean a lot of new systems have to come in for the journal. A lot of new calls for the deals, the databases. So we got to watch a few things.
How many people are actually working on the mod at the moment?
Physically on ours, there's about 12, I think there is on ours.
And then you have community developers, don't you?
Well, they are the community developers. There's about 12, 13 community developers that are long term, that have been there for a while. Then we got a couple that come and go, work-wise, like Alex, he comes and goes. And then there's a few others that help on the sideline. They don't actually come into the channels and help us. They just throw us new stuff here and there and give us information of things that are important. Like Tan DayZ 0, I think he does. He does a lot of. He's pretty good with all his code optimization, so he gives us tips on code optimization here and there, which helps a lot.
I have a question for Haiku. What mic are you using?
What mic am I using?
Does it sound really crappy?
No, it sounds like amazing.
It's just a simple Logitech. Here, let me see if I can look up the model number.
In the meanwhile, if you don't mind, Razer, there was obviously a big duping issue in the 7.1.
It's just a low-end Logitech, but it's got some padded headphones. I think it was like $19.95.
That was like a really good mic, though.
It sounds like good, like nice.
Well, I mean, Storm doesn't sound bad.
Mine is pretty bad. Like, I'm using my built-in laptop mic. My Turtle Beaches broke like 2 days ago, and everyone thought my mic was good.
And I hate to say it, but Razer, your mic is kind of bad.
Oh,
yeah. You know, I bought my older son the Turtle Beach, and the wiring, the shielding on the cable was terrible. Didn't last.
I agree. Like mine, it's like I'm guessing like internally like the wires are disconnecting from like the circuit and stuff. So I'm probably gonna go with the Razer this time because, like I mean like they do sound good, but Razer it's actually pretty sturdy.
I just saw Bushwookie in the firehouse, and he went past an MP5. That's one of the weapons that it looks really interesting to pick up, but ammo is so like few for that gun. It like spawns so rare that it's not even worth picking up. Is there any way that you guys can make MP5 a little bit better of a weapon?
We can definitely look at it.
Yeah, as you can see from my avatar photo.
Spitting at people.
As you can see from the avatar photo on TeamSpeak, I absolutely love the MP5, considering I own one.
Yeah, like I've tried to pick it up a couple of times, but then I only have like one mag that I found with it, and I was never able to find another mag for it, so then it's like worthless to pick up, so then I just like leave it somewhere.
So Razor, do you mind if I ask you about duping?
No, yeah, sorry. Yeah, it depends on which one you're actually on about. In point 7, there's actually 2.
Yeah, the one. Yeah, I probably shouldn't mention it in public.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, there's 2. There's the on-disconnect one, which has been fixed. That was a simple login issue. Basically, what's happened is, as we went to release point 7, the GitHub, someone updated something on GitHub, and we ended up pulling it out just before we released because we didn't want it. It was a login tool that we just didn't want. So we pulled it out, but we missed the server-side addition that he added on a commit just before it. So we kind of missed it. So when we pushed out to point 7, we messed that up, and no, we just didn't plain see it. It was just a simple mistake.
Yeah, that's totally understandable. But is that still an issue in 7.2? Because I know for a fact that it still happens.
No, it doesn't. It's not an issue. If you look at oh, he's not feeding. Yeah, it's definitely not an issue. Not the on disconnect one. That is just a simple server admins can fix that quite easily and much faster than we can.
Oh, that's awkward.
Yeah, so they can fix that very easily.
Not that. So, yeah, I have my own server, but I noticed like people are logging out, leaving their bodies behind.
Yeah, so you need to put your finger at your butt and go fix it.
Whoops. Forget I said anything, okay?
Yeah, you uncompress the server BPO and go into compiles on player disconnect, and you're looking for the log system, the diag log system, and it's like 18, 17, something silly like that, and just uncomment it, just comment it out, just get rid of it altogether.
I'll take a look. Thanks, man.
Yeah, I'll go through with it later, but it is quite simple to do. Then just rebuild it. It is literally server side, so no one needs to download it. It's just the server admins.
Yeah,
and for the other one is we should have fixed it, but we don't know 100%. I haven't really tested it yet, to be honest.
I wasn't able to replicate the things that I had in 7.1. I actually tested it out with a bunch of different vehicles and different, things.
Yeah, we believe we fixed it. Obviously, you guys will find dupe issues faster than we can bloody fix them. That's how it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, we believe we fixed it.
As far as I know, it's only the logout thing.
Yeah, that's a simple server-side fix. I'll go through that.
I heard that this beta that's going on right now, you're letting it out to people in the, like, I guess, trusted member. I don't know how to call them, but like trusted members, I guess, of the community. Are you gonna ever do a like second wave of people, like let some other people get in and do it?
What you mean for the testing?
Yeah.
Yeah, to be honest, if people show interest in doing it, a lot of the time, people not interested. They want to come over, take what they can take, put it into their mods, and they're not really interested in helping or really doing anything for it. A lot of the guys that we've got now private testing are pretty much very interested in the mod. They're interested in how the mod's going, where it's going, and all the aspects of the mod. It's like a lot of the TWM members here that have been helping us for the last couple of days. They're all interested in seeing the mod grow. So if you have a real interest, we don't have any issue in bringing you over onto the public side, onto the private side, and getting you involved on the private side. So it's just a matter of speaking to us, really.
Yeah, because like me personally, I really love this mod and I really want to see it succeed, and I've been trying to like I've been like really interested in the community and everything, and I really want to like get into helping you guys find issues and stuff. But I know that there are people like what you said that will take what they want, but I know there are a lot of other people that probably like me that would want to get in here, test it, help you guys out.
Yeah, definitely. We know that. We know this comes up, but every time we announce this or announce any kind of testing, the general people that come up first are the ones that want something. They're not here to just generally help. I don't mean that's everyone, but that seems to be what we get the most of. The ones that want to get something back out of it all the time. And
Well,
What
where do normal people go to get into these like testings and talk to you guys?
well, I know the Reddit post. We got a Reddit post at the moment. I think I'll be my second really in command. He's got a post on Reddit, and I believe I had one on the forums a while ago. But I'm so swamped. I think Elby's dealing with most of it at the moment.
what your database? You use MySQL,
Yeah.
and then what is this? Then what is the language that you use then to access MySQL? Is it like you using like I don't know? Would you use something like Python or using are you using Perl or PHP?
Are we talking about like the deals that communicate from the game?
Yeah.
I think it's C+ we use for the deals.
Okay. All
I
right.
think Armor 2, we use an extension in Armor 2 called call extension. We use that to actually call the deal, and the deal does all the rest of it that calls all the SQL and everything.
Yeah. Okay.
But I'm pretty sure it's C+. I'd have to speak to Raj, the original guy that created it. But yeah, I'm sure it's C+.
That would make sense.
A question for Bushwookie. I'm watching your gameplay and you keep going in first person, and it kind of looks like Resident Evil type first person, where you like move it around the screen. I
Dead
don't
Zone.
have that happen to me. Like, what are you doing to make it
Go
do
into your
that?
game options and check. Well, actually, let me go in and see what it's exactly called. Ah, crap! I just control escaped
Head
like an
bobbing?
idiot.
Head bob.
Oh, there's head. Well, there's head bob for moving when you're so it bounces, but
Oh, yeah,
what
the
he's
aiming
talking
dead
about
zone.
is aiming dead zone. I have it to
Yeah.
half.
Aiming dead zone's quite useful for melee weapons. It allows you to move your mouse without actually moving your body to a degree. I use it quite a lot for melee.
I just like the feel of it better.
Yeah, it was just interesting to me because I've been playing where I just had to like move my guy's character.
Takes quite some getting used to though.
Yeah, but once you're used to it, it's actually kind of hard to go back.
True.
Oh well, shit. All right, you heard me.
I was wondering, like the easy server fix you told me about. Is there like a thread on it or something? Because this is the first thing I heard about it.
Well, there would have been, yeah. I don't know where it is now. Give me a minute.
Oh, okay. It's probably just me for being admin.
Give me a minute. You know how to unPBO your server?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, one second. I'll just send you the whole lot. On player disconnect. Server on player disconnect.
Are Macroffs ever going to be made better?
It depends what you mean by made better. The damage has already been changed to a degree.
Makarov TWS.
Like, because
gosh.
Makarovs, I
Grenade
know they're
launcher.
like starter weapons and they have like infinite ammo because you can find ammo everywhere, but they're really bad weapons. It takes like, to the chest, it'll take like 5 clips to kill someone. And then to the head, I mean like 1 whole clip, but they're kind of not that good of weapons.
Yeah, you can find magazines everywhere, but it's a pretty crappy weapon.
Well, given the choice, wouldn't you rather have the hatchet over the macaron?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if I see a hatchet right next to a Makarov, I'm gonna go for that hatchet.
I mean, technically you could have both, so it's not that big of an issue, but
But I mean, like, compared to the other pistols, it's really bad.
Kind of has this BB gun feel to it whenever you try shooting it in the game.
I have a V gun.
Oh, Razor, I feel for such a dirt for asking, but which PBO was it again?
Server PBO. Just on your server side. So it's in the Hive add-ons.
I have a question. Will the PvP aspect of like DayZ ever be like modified?
Well, the PvP aspect of DayZ is based on the player, so you need to ask your players.
Yeah,
It
what do
won't
you
be
mean by
changed,
modified?
right?
How do you mean modified?
I don't know, like adding like maybe for example like more disadvantages to being like a bandit over like a survivor.
The thing is that I don't think they really want to limit a player on what they want to do.
I mean, there was talk earlier about trying to nerf the bit of KOS, but they don't want to change too much around. It's up to the
Yeah.
players really to affect the game.
KOS is a big part of DayZ. PvP is a massive part of DayZ. That fear of another player walking into another player. The aspect of walking into another player. DayZ is about the KOS, the kill on sight, the player versus player. Unfortunately, KO sight at the moment, due with point 6, has gone way overboard. The amount of gear that was found, the amount of how players used it, they just run around. They get everything they need, run around PvP. That's it. There's no other game to it. With point 7, we're going to try and change it with point 7 to some degree. So KOS will come down because they need to work together a little bit more. You'll see more trade opportunities to try get in antibiotics. You'll see more people trying to get along together more. And we have seen this on big servers. We have got feedback that this is working to a small degree. So we want to try improving that a little bit more to cut down the massive maelstream of KOS, just for the sake of it. We do want to cut that down, but it means that we're going to have to start adding some play that lasts longer than just gearing up, which means we need to look at adding some new things to do in DayZ, which is why we've brought in the object orientation, so you can actually build to a degree small areas and camps once you find the items. So it gives a little bit more to do.
Razor, if you don't mind me making a suggestion. You mentioned being all about having some female skins. I just saw like the best female bandit ever.
Alright, go on.
Here's a suggestion that Bear Girls would agree with. Why can't you drink your own urine?
What?
To be honest, I've never asked myself that question.
With these bases and stuff, will you be able to store your own things in the bases?
See this yeah, I'm not going to comment on it too much. The base system's going to be completely new. It's not going to be anything that we've seen before. The system from start to finish is completely new. The steps that we've got wrote down and
User left your channel.
designed are completely unique to every other mod out there at the moment. So take what you know about all the mods currently and try to fit everything into how we see DayZ, i.e. everything's open, nothing's locked, the player makes every decision, and then you'll try getting, you might be able to get an understanding of where we're going with base.
Yeah, because another example from DayZ Origins is like when you build your own house, there's like a function to add a code lock on there, and then you have like your own combination that you can open it up. I mean, you could do something where like you can, I mean, you don't have to store your stuff in the base, but have it where like you can put your vehicles in there or something in your little circle base, and then have like a code to open it up that you can give to trusted members in your group or whatever, that you can open up the base.
The first
Wait.
part, yes. The second part, no. So you can you'll be able to take your vehicle in, but you won't be able to lock it.
Wait, bases are going to be added to DayZ?
There will be a base, building implementation, yes, at some point.
Oh, what will you be able to do with it? Like put items, I'm assuming?
Again, it's going to be. We'll come back to it when we're actually in the middle of actually getting it into the game physically, where we're ready to be able to discuss exactly how we're doing it. At the moment, it's all concepts.
Have you made some stuff like from scratch code-wise, or you're using the armor stuff that they have right now for setting up buildings and moving objects?
We don't use anybody else's code. We'll create our own.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, all the code that we currently use is our own code developed for DayZ. So including all the new spawn systems, all the new attack systems, they're all ours.
What about swag?
I think we have one or two little dupe methods that we use from another mod at the moment. Yeah, I think one or two of the dupe issues that we got, like backpacks, I think we've been sent over from another mod, which was fantastic. But mostly it's our own code that we'll be using.
So how do you get into this testing that's happening?
Let me see if I'm finding it. One sec. Bomber team speak.
Wait, why were ghillie suits removed in 1.7.2.2 and then re-added later on?
What do you mean?
Well, like, I'm reading, like, the ghillie suit Wikipedia article, and it says it was removed before, but then re-added. Is that true?
What version was that?
1.7.2.2 was removed, but then it was re-added in 1.7.2.4.
Yeah, it could have been that was Rocket. That was 2.2's Rocket.
Oh.
Dean. So you'd have to ask Dean on that one.
Wasn't it because, I think I remember this update, wasn't this because there was an issue with the ghillie suits?
I think so, yeah. I think they set on fire or something, didn't they?
Yes. I remember at one point I had a ghillie suit and I turned invisible, so that might have been the issue.
Yeah, there was a couple. There's one that has a backpack issue. One that turns you invisible. The other one that was set on fire when someone shot it. Well, there's been a few actually.
That is weird. How could somebody bug it to where you light on fire when you get shot when you have a ghillie suit?
Though I have seen like weird glitches where helis have crashed and then it like creates this big huge wall of flame. I don't know if any of you guys have seen that, but I've seen it plenty of times.
We should have fixed that in 0.7.
Yeah, I don't see it as much anymore, but like on the Origin server that I'm playing on, it's like sometimes if you crash the AI helicopters that come over from Sector B, if you crash them, it'll create this big, huge ball of flame, and it's
I mean, maybe it hasn't been fixed on Origins. I mean, I'm not gonna touch Origins. That's just, no, thanks.
Yeah, I understand that it might not be fixed on Origins. I'm just mentioning it because we're talking about like weird glitches.
Oh,
yeah, but I know we fixed it on the 0.7 mod. I know we fixed it. I can't comment on how many others have fixed it, but I'm presuming anybody that has license and that has asked us for permission to use it will have it fixed. I don't think Origins has yet.
I have a question about like, you know, ghillie and camo clothing. Will there ever be a feature for it to like make zombies harder to spot you?
Isn't that already how it is with ghillie?
No, it isn't.
Yeah, ghillies don't really protect you from zombies.
Nah, ghillies. Zombies. Zeds probably won't. We probably won't do on infected now because it is only close. So I don't think we ever will. But yeah, I suppose it's possible at a later time.
Would there be a possibility of giving people more clothing options when they create a character, so that, say you're working with a group of people, you could all choose like the same color hat or vest?
Physically, no. You wouldn't be able to choose individuals, but we have looked at being able to choose a character to start with, so you don't actually spawn with the standard ones we have now. So you'll get a list. You'll get a black list of a black screen with all the characters stood up. A load of them stood up, and you get to pick one of them, and you'll spawn as that character.
I don't know about you guys, but I already have a plan for having our little group know each other. We have a plan to have. We're all not gonna wear pants, so then when we see each other, we're just gonna be called the Skibby Squad. So we're just gonna run around in our boxers, our characters.
I have nothing to say about that.
I'll make sure to shoot on sight that anybody I'm seeing with no pants. Kill on sight.
I think that's going to be rule 1 from everyone in standalone. If you see someone without clothes on, it's instant shot.
Right.
Done.
Because you won't be looting that junk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of like when I see someone with a hatchet. I'm sorry, I might end up shooting you. I hate hatchets. They scare me.
But
Yeah,
not
I don't.
wearing clothes
I
will bring
can't
some
That
decide.
and Russians and people with long hair.
Yeah, the hatchets and being able to break someone's bone and kill someone really easily with them. I kill anyone with a hatchet because if they're close to me, they pose a threat.
Well, that's the beauty of DayZ, isn't it? Everything is really a threat.
Yeah.
Well, that's the aim. The aim is to everything to be a threat. We aim to make you. We aim to make the player make the mistakes. If the player makes the mistakes, we're getting what we need out of the player.
There's the function for the ACP round to be transferred into M19 and M19 to be into a ACP. Are there going to be any more conversions?
I mean, you already have some conversions with the
Oh.
DMR mag to the.
Yeah,
the
I was
4,
just
but-
thinking about. Yeah, M24
Oh,
and DMR.
there's always possibilities for them. But, I suppose it depends on how we start adding weapons later. As we start adding more weapons, what weapons can choose what mags can be transferred to other mags, and I suppose later we will be looking at it. We could look at it, so it's not off the cards.
I mean, personally, the way I'd like to see ammo and reloading would be finding individual bullets, in clumps, so you won't be finding, oh, I found one bullet. That'd be stupid. And finding empty magazines and having to put the two together.
We have looked at this already for crafting, so it probably will be part of the crafting sort of system later.
Oh, seems like this question and answer session's been wrapped up.
I think it was about an hour ago, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
pretty much.
Just the guy
in,
asking questions.
in that case, I guess I'm gonna end the stream.
I was just about to say, are you still streaming?
Yeah, it's been streaming.
Anyone still watching?
Yeah, 16 people.
Alright.
If those people hear me, swag.
Yeah, it's time for sleep for me. It's afternoon.
We kept you up, but
I think you talked about going to bed like almost 2 hours ago, Razor.
I know. I'm
about
sure.
an hour ago.